A very good evening. Welcome to Champions League Live tonight as we find out one of our two finalists for this year's competition as we watch Inter Milan take on Barcelona. And after an incredible first leg last week, 6 days ago, it was an absolute thriller, a six-goal thriller in Barcelona. But tonight we're at San Siro as Inter try and complete the job with home advantage, or can Barcelona unleash their quality of talent and a wrath of incredible talent up front here this evening against a very, very strong Inter defence? We will see. Of course, this is the first night of semi-final second leg action. Tomorrow night we watched Arsenal try and overcome a deficit of a one-goal deficit from their first leg against Paris Saint-Germain, who are now the favourites to win this competition, are PSG. But they've never won the competition before. These two sides we watch tonight have Barca five-time winners and Inter three-time winners of this competition, and only one of them can find a way through to the final. Let's have a look and see what the bracket has looked like then, all the way throughout the knockout stages. This is the way it's looked from the very start, from the round of 16 onward. This is where we sit, and PSG Arsenal on the left-hand side, Barca Inter on the right-hand side. Inter had to see off Feyenoord and Bayern Munich to get to this stage. Barca had to see off Benfica and Borussia Dortmund to get to this point. PSG came through two previous English sides in Liverpool and Aston Villa to progress to the semis, and Arsenal had to knock off a very good PSV side, and of course the reigning European champions Real Madrid in the quarters. But a big job for Arsenal tomorrow night. We'll watch that tomorrow night and look very forward to watching that one tomorrow night. Let's have a look and see what tonight really stands for then between these two football clubs, because this is what Opta have predicted. 42.7% for a Barcelona win tonight, according to Opta, which is a massive margin. For the visitors. They're in green, of course, they're playing in green tonight. Inter in blue, of course, blue and black, their home strip. They have a 33% chance of winning and 24.3% chance of a draw. So there is a 24% chance of this game ending up going to extra time and possibly penalties. I wouldn't bet against that. I wouldn't certainly vote against it either in a want for to continue this incredible tie that we've seen so far. Last week was an absolute joy to watch, and I'm hoping for 90 minutes at the very least of more of the same. Let's show you who the favourites are for this competition then. This is of the four remaining sides. The Opta prediction, the Opta kind of calculators and mathematicians have come out with who they think will win this competition, who has the best chance of winning this competition. PSG with the favourites at the moment, 41.6% chance. Barca in second on that list, 26.6%. Inter not far behind Barca, so very tight one there, 20.6%. And Arsenal with just 11% chance of winning this competition and going into that one, despite only 1-0 down. But something that neither Arsenal nor PSG have ever done is seeing that PSG, being the home side, never lost when winning the first leg away from home, and Arsenal have never overturned a home leg deficit from the first leg to win the second leg and progress. So that is probably why those are stacked in PSG's favour at this moment in time, and that's probably the reason why they are where they are. But Barca Inter is still quite tight, as you can see on that list, and it's quite tight in terms of the scoreline. An incredible 3-3 draw last week, and we're just minutes away from seeing a return leg that I'm sure, and I'm certainly hoping, will be something quite similar. We'll be back for kickoff and team news in just a moment. Welcome back to Champions League Live. We are just 4 minutes away from kickoff tonight in San Siro in Inter. Inter taking on Barcelona in the fashion capital of Europe in Milan. As the green, the white and the red strays down from the stands. And those Inter fans say Forza. They believe it. And they certainly have a reason to believe in their side. Let's have a look at the two teams then for tonight's game, which is set to be an absolute cracker. Starting with the home side, who are unchanged from their away draw with Barcelona in the first leg. They start with Jan Sommer in goal, Denzel Dumfries, Jan Bisek, Francesco Acerbi, Alessandro Bastoni and of course Federico Di Marco are the back five. A midfield three of Hakan Çalhanoğlu, Nico Barella and Henrik Mkhitaryan are the midfield three, with a front two of Lisandro Martinez, the captain, who was a doubt for this game after going off with a hamstring injury last week in the first leg, but he starts alongside Marcus Thuram as well, who scored that incredible little backheel flick to open the scoring inside 30 seconds last week. On the Inter bench, Di Gennaro, Martinez, De Vrij, Augusto, Reiseconi, Zielinski, Fratesi, Aslani, Darmian, Zalewski, Arnautovic and Taremi. For Barcelona, just the one change and an enforced change for them. They start with Wojciech Szczesny in goal, but a change at right back as Eric Garcia has to come in for the injured Jules Koundé. That's the only change to the Barca side, with Pau Cubarsí, Inigo Martinez and Gerard Martin in defence. Frenkie de Jong, the captain, alongside Pedri in midfield, with Dani Olmo in the 10. On the right-hand side of a front three is Lamine Yamal. On the left-hand side, Rafinha, who scored that absolute cracker that ended up being an own goal against the Inter keeper last week. And Ferran Torres leading the line. On the bench for Barcelona tonight, Peña, Astralaga, Araujo, Christensen, Fort, Farey, Gavi, Lopez, Darvic, Fati, Vitor, and the big man, Robert Lewandowski, is fit enough, according to Hansi Flick, to play at least 30 minutes tonight. We'll see him enjoy it this evening. He is certain amount of experience for Robert Lewandowski, and hopefully we'll get to see him a little later on. But tonight it is two European giants vying for a place in the Munich final in a number of weeks' time. It's Inter against Barcelona. It's finally poised at 3-3 from the first leg. What will the second leg give? We'll find out in just a minute. A very good evening. Welcome to LFS for this one this evening. It's Inter against Barcelona, and we were treated to an absolute spectacle at the very least last week, and we're hoping for more of the same tonight as we watch an Inter Milan side with one of the best defences in Europe take on one of the best attacks in Europe in Barcelona as we get underway this evening. Inter in their home strip of navy blue shirts and black with black shorts, and Barca in their third kit tonight of that lime green as Yamal plays it into the box early in the shots. Took an early deflection, or offside actually, Ferran Torres there as it goes behind, and it will be a free kick to Inter. Well, Inter scored inside 30 seconds last week. Barca tried to do the same tonight. They almost got away with it there, trying to catch out their opponents in these early moments. Very interesting kit from Barcelona tonight. It's not often you see a team in green. They kind of blend in with the pitch, so they do, the Barcelona players. As that ball was played wide to Dumfries, who wins Inter a throw-in down that right-hand side. Evening everybody, welcome into the chat. Great to have you all with us this evening for this one. We had absolute glorious time last week. It was goals galore. It was probably one of the best Champions League games I've seen in a long while. Probably one of the best games of the season for how good it was, how competitive it was, how close both sides were. And really kind of how entertaining the game was from minute 1 to minute 90. Came to a point where maybe one of the two sides could have won it last week, but it really wouldn't have felt the same. A draw was probably a fair result last week, considering Inter's defence was having a night off and both sides' attacks were having a lovely night of it last week. So that's a bit of pressure there on Acerbi. It ends up going out for a Barcelona throw down the right-hand side. Well, I expect to see more of the same from those two sides than what we did last week in the 6 days ago in the Olympic Stadium in Barcelona. I do expect more of the same. I do expect Barcelona to dominate the possession. I expect them to control a lot of the play and try and press Inter. But I also expect Inter to be a little bit more progressive. They were very kind of counter-attack focused last week, and it kind of fell away towards the end. They were more focused on maybe set pieces in the second half last week, so I expect them to be a little bit more progressive. But again, if we get anywhere near the entertainment of last week, it'll certainly go down in history as one of the best Champions League ties we've seen to date. That's a nice throw by Dumfries. Down that right-hand side by Barella. He tried to flick it on, but nicely intercepted down that left-hand side by Martin. And then Inigo Martinez trying to clear it away. Barella closing down, and it will be a Barcelona throw. That was a nice press by Nico Barella, the Italian. As Gerard Martin will take this throw down the left-hand side into Pedri. Played it on to Frankie de Jong, who has the armband tonight for Barcelona. Eric Garcia laying it off to Lamine Yamal, who skips away from two players and brought down by Federico Di Marco, who really could not keep Lamine Yamal quiet last week. He actually had to come off the field, Federico Di Marco. I'm sure he was knackered after last week's forays, and he's already got his first taste of Lamine Yamal and that wonderful little bit of skill. And committed that foul. Did the Inter left wing back. And Lamine Yamal, actually, the reverse fixture, the first leg was actually Lamine Yamal's 100th senior appearance for Barcelona, which is absolutely unreal. It was his 49th appearance of the season. He made 50 last season and then one senior appearance the season prior. But, I mean, to be that experienced, 100 appearances for Barcelona at such a young age of 17... it's just sensational. Out of this world. That's a lovely ball into Olmo, who laid it off well to Ferran Torres. Nice combination there. Olmo again. Out wide to Rafinha, who tries to spin it back inside. And Ferran Torres almost found it, but cleared away by Jan Sommer with real zest and real intention. Barca intense in their press, win it back again. Lamine Yamal whips it round the back post. Too much on that one. A little bit ahead of Rafinha. Nice idea from Lamine Yamal. And thumbs up there from Rafinha in response to his opposite winger to that cross. Already that intense press from Barcelona, very evident in these early moments. That was a nice little move there. And Di Marco breaking away. Garcia trying to close down, and nicely closed by Inigo Martinez, but I think the referee's given a foul here for Eric Garcia, pulling Federico Di Marco. Yeah, he just pulled his right shoulder there. They've kind of got a little grip of each other, but Di Marco is pulled back by Eric Garcia. It is a free kick to Inter. Lamine Yamal, a little bit too close for comfort there from Bastoni. He goes back with it to Acerbi, and then Bisek, who goes back to Jan Sommer. Of course, we saw a lot of those defenders last week for Inter. A lot of defending to do. I wouldn't say they covered themselves in glory very often. So try the switch ball there to Dumfries. Just a little bit too hard for Denzel Dumfries there. And goes out for the throw. to Barcelona. Certainly try that. They got it off inside 30 seconds last week, that switch ball. Inter and Barca were a little bit caught napping essentially last week in the first minute. Inter certainly cruised themselves into an early lead. They were 2-0 up in that game. Barca got it back to 2-2, and in the end it finished obviously 3-3, but an absolute classic. You would feel at some point Inter probably would have felt that the game got away from them, and from a very promising position had to battle back, keep themselves in the battle, in the tie in a sense. There's that long throw from Dumfries. Has no power, kind of threat in it whatsoever. Thuram was nowhere near that one. That was nice from Frankie de Jong. Skips away from a challenge. Our referee, by the way, this evening is Simon Marciniak from Poland. A VAR Dennis Hiegler from the Netherlands this evening. Simon Marciniak, a very experienced referee. It's his 68th Champions League game as a referee this evening. Here's Lamine Yamal. Another skipping away, feeding it into space, almost finding it through to Ferran Torres. Just a little bit hard on that one. Again, it's just beautiful. He glides on the football pitch, Lamine Yamal. When it was remarked last week, it's very Lionel Messi-esque, and that's all I could really think of last week. I've not seen anybody glide with a football through players, through an opposition team, as easy as Lamine Yamal does, probably since Lionel Messi has done it. Again, look, effortless little return ball to Pedri, and into Olmo, back to Pedri. Nice combination from Barca. As here's Martin going for the deep cross, headed away and thumped clear by Di Marco. Inigo Martinez trying to apply the pressure, but Lautaro Martinez drops off his man, feeds it out wide to Dumfries, who skips past Martin, trying to hold him back. A good battle. Dumfries hangs on, skips past his man into the box. Denzel Dumfries, can I get a shot off? He can't, and he can't find a teammate either, and it falls its way back to Wojciech Szczesny. He absolutely has Gerard Martin on toast there, did Denzel Dumfries. Absolutely sent him packing. Much better from Inter. That's a nice reverse ball over the top there for Ferran Torres. Up against Acerbi. The very experienced Francisco Acerbi blocks that one off. 37 years old, Acerbi. Çalhanoğlu. Nice little ball into Barella. Again, the intensity of that Barcelona press. Just unsettled Inter. And they had to force the ball long, which allows Barcelona to retrieve with their centre-backs. In Inigo Martinez and Pau Cubarsí. We talk so often about the high line of Barcelona and how kind of dangerous it can be for them. Many times did Inter get played offside last week. It was clear that Inter were trying to break the offside trap, but it's so well coached and so vigorously coached and so precise from Barcelona's point of view, and it is so hard to break down and to break past. Called offside 5 times last week were Inter in that game. Barcelona, actually, everybody that's played them over the season, Barca have the most offsides called for them and in terms of against opposition teams in Europe's top 5 leagues. So they certainly lean in on it, would be a bit of an understatement. It is kind of one of their highest profile tactical instructions from Hansi Flick. My goodness. Lamine Yamal applauded by Ronald Araujo there on the bench for that little bit of skill. I mean, he's got skills. An absolute incredible footballer at such a young age. He's already got a European Championships under his belt. He wants to add the club honours to that list. The La Liga title, which they're still leading, are Barcelona after the weekend's affairs. And, obviously in the Champions League semi-finals, and already won the Copa del Rey. So, I mean, what a last 12 months it would be for Lamine Yamal if he completes a treble with Barcelona at club level and European Championships with Spain at international level. I mean, what a 12 months that would be. You'd probably say he would be, if not the bookies' favourite, he would certainly be in the top 3 for the Ballon d'Or at the end of the year. That's saying something for a 17-year-old to be in that conversation. Rafinha caught on the ball there. Inter want to spring a counter. Lautaro Martinez feeding it in behind. He's miles offside here, Thuram. The flag stayed down for now, but Thuram, he's going to try and round the keeper. Szczesny did well, but he was miles offside well before the flag was called. And Szczesny was even in the picture. He was offside. See it again. Fantastic bit of defending. That is incredible from, I think it's Inigo Martinez, that spots he's trying to run back with Thuram, but then goes, no, I'm going to play offside, and he jumps literally about 2 or 3 metres in about half a second, and he just gets back in line with his other teammates. I mean, Thuram's about 2 or 3 yards offside. I mean, quite incredible. I mean, just instinctive. Are Barcelona. They know when to trigger the offside. They know when to play that situation, and they know exactly what kind of point in the game they need to do it. It's just so instinctive now. It's quite incredible just to watch how perfect it is. When it works, it's absolutely world class, but it's so difficult. I'm sure it will be probably one of the most intense parts of Barcelona's training regime. Then again, as I say, it just becomes second nature to you if you do it that often. And I've got to say, for a young player in the likes of Pau Cubarsí, you know, as he grows as a player, having played that high line for so long, you know, maybe dropping back a couple of yards and in future years, or maybe it's not as high on the agenda for Barcelona, that will only make him a better player in his defending and his recovery. Here's Lamine Yamal trying to skip away. He had the effort from the edge of the box, but not as much blistering pace in that one. It bobbled its way into the hands of Jan Sommer. Not quite like his one from last week. That was one to behold. That goal that got Barcelona back in the game, really. Last week that got them from 2-0 down back to 2-1. Here's DeMarco absolutely scurrying away down the left side, but the through ball there from Barella absolutely hooked clear by Szczesny. That's another factor about a goalkeeper and about playing a high line, is your goalkeeper has to be intrinsically linked with it. You can't have that kind of huge gap of space. The higher your back line is, the more space your goalkeeper needs to cover as a sweeper at the same time. But they've got a bit of space here. Thuram, he's trying to angle the shot. Angles it well wide. Not a bad opportunity that from Inter. They bodies up the field, and see this again. Comes across to Barella. Thuram is onside there, along with Martinez as was as well. It was, I think it was Pedri that might have played them both on, and the shot from Thuram was well wide. He wasn't offside on that occasion. And that's another thing for Inter. If they are playing off the back line of Barca, you need to be kind of clinical with your efforts, because, I mean, yes, some of them may be offside, but you never know on the off chance that Barca don't quite get the offside trap correct, and you might sneak yourself onside. You have to be there to take that chance and be clinical, because you never know when that opportunity might come around. A little bit loose there in the middle from Mkhitaryan. Martin's ball forward was nicely recycled by Acerbi back to Jan Sommer. Now this side have really been able to get into rhythm so far. Barca have had more of the possession, but not really seen much control from Barcelona. It's a lot of fighting for the ball between the two sides in these early moments. And that's a lovely bit of play down the left-hand side. Mkhitaryan making himself known and goes for the cross to Martinez, which cleared behind for the corner. Again, they find that space wide, and that's where the threat is for Inter. In that far wide left position, the same in the far wide right. But Barca carry themselves so narrow, even when they're kind of running back towards their goal, that the spaces are absolutely humongous on the wings. And it was Mkhitaryan that made the run down the left-hand side that time. He tried to get the cross in. And in the end, it was defended behind for a corner, which Çalhanoğlu will take here. That's where the threat for Inter is. It was there last week in the wide areas. It's the same tonight. Çalhanoğlu goes for the corner. Headed away, back the way it came by Íñigo Martínez. And I think that will go for a throw-in to Inter. Which Alessandro Bastoni is over to take. Going to go for the long throw, I believe. Bastoni. Long throw into the box. Flicked on there by Bisek. And it comes off a Barca defender. And behind for another corner. Again, it was a nice looping ball. And when it just come off the back of Bisek's head, or whether it missed him, and come off De Jong. Went behind for another Inter corner here. Nice little spell this from Inter. Couple of set pieces. It's DeMarco that's over this corner. It'll be an outswinger. Actually goes short with it. It's Çalhanoğlu, who will try and hit one. And it took another deflection. This time off Frankie De Jong again. It will be another Inter corner. Yeah, it looked like it took a deflection. And the officials were well aware. This is a little bit of pressure for Barcelona. I'm sure they would have worked on set pieces, conceding from 2 of them last week. Right-footed delivery, whipped in again, bouncing down. It's the crowded area for Barca. Comes out on top there as DeMarco and Yamal go at it again. And it's Yamal that gets the better of DeMarco, and he's got space to burn up the field now. It's Pedri. It's a little bit loose in his pass across field. And it's nicely recepted by Bisek. A little 1-2 there between Bisek and Thuram. And Íñigo Martínez there to break it apart and put it out for the Inter throw. It seems like Barca are a little bit under the cosh at the minute. Inter seem to have more rhythm in their play. Barca a little bit loose. A little bit out of control in a sense. Dumfries goes for the long throw into the box. Thuram takes it down nicely. Takes himself away from his man. Wanted a penalty there, Thuram, as he went to ground, but the referee quickly waves it away. Tells him to get up. Here's Çalhanoğlu. Out to the right-hand side. Flicked on by Dumfries. Barella in behind. Chops back, hits the shot! And Szczesny palms it into the air and catches it at the second time. That was lovely from Nico Barella. Chopped back onto his left and absolutely sweeped it. Sheer power. Almost took a past Szczesny. That could have been a great goal. DeMarco skips it in behind, and here's the run, and it's set up for Martinez. The flag stays down. Have they beaten the offside trap? It seems like they have, and Inter take the lead. Quite remarkable. Quite remarkable. The man who didn't know whether he was starting or not tonight, who captains Inter tonight, gives Inter Milan the lead. And for the 3rd time against Barcelona in this tie, Inter have the advantage. And it's a beautiful bit of pressing in the midfield. They win it back. It's DiMarco. First time ball in behind for Denzel Dumfries, who squares it across to Lautaro Martinez, who has an empty net to find the ball into. And that he does. What a goal. Perfect team pressing from Inter Milan. A wonderful ball in behind. And Lautaro Martinez gives Inter the lead. That is a great goal. An injury doubt coming into this game. But no doubt in his quality and his ability to find the back of the net there. Inter 1, Barca 0 on the night. Inter lead 4-3 on aggregates. My goodness. I mean, literally Inter played Barcelona at their own game there. That was incredible pressing. A beautiful first time ball. Wonderful runners in behind. And just a nice combination. Beautiful team goal from Inter. Absolutely fantastic. And well deserved. And Lautaro Martinez has the opener. His 9th Champions League goal of the season for Inter Milan. His last, quite ironically, came in the second leg here against Bayern Munich in the quarterfinals. He scored the opening goal for Inter that night, and Inter won by 4-3 on aggregate that night. There you go. There you go. Listen, this is Barcelona we're talking about. They came from 2-0 down, got all the way back to 2-2 last week, albeit they were at home. But if they have a night like they did last week, Barca will not fail to show the unwavering threat of their attack. But it's Inter that have unleashed and had got first blood in the second leg. Here's Rafinha as Barca now try and respond to that setback. De Jong, Pedri, nice little reverse ball into the central area, finds Rafinha. Olmo across to Lamine Yamal. Yamal chipping it across, looking for Torres. Cleared away, nicely won back though. And the shot might come from Pedri. No, he leaves it. Finds it through to Garcia. Comes back to Pedri. Pedri in the box. Pedri across. The flick on. Bouncing around. And it's stabbed behind. For a goal kick, I believe. They're calling for handball. We'll see this again. Pedri across. Ball bounces up. Olmo. Does it come off Acerbi's hand? I don't think there was a handball in there. Not that I could clearly identify. And there is a check underway from the Dutch VAR, Dennis Hiegler. And Simon Marciniak will wait and see. Pedri was calling for it right away. We'll have to see it again. Ooh. I mean, it comes off Olmo. Olmo hits the ball. And then it looks like it bounces up onto the arm slightly of Acerbi, but I don't think that's a penalty, and it's been checked and cleared by the VAR, so we do play on. But I mean, Barca had the claim. They were probably right to call for it, and I think the right decision was given there. No penalty. Would have been harsh. Good throw by Gerard Martin. Rafinha. Again, one thing Inter are actually doing well, and I've noticed once or twice now tonight, what they didn't do last week was they didn't cut off the central area. So when Barcelona got the ball wide, they were squaring the ball back inside to a midfielder, and there was always a free man, the De Jong or Pedri, that was free last week, and he carved their way through Inter. Whereas this week, we're seeing a little bit more central control from Inter, where they're trying to block those passes, trying to make it a little bit more difficult for Barca in the midfield to kind of carry the ball forward, and that's what's breaking up the kind of the rhythm, the momentum from Barcelona. They're not able to take the ball down with the midfielder and drive forward with the ball, where they were easily able to do that last week. Inter are just trying to make it a little bit more difficult, crowding that area out a little bit more. Here's Yamal. Garcia on the overlap. Yamal doesn't want to find him. Tried to find Olmo. Give a heavy touch there, Dani Olmo, and now DiMarco comes away with it. Closed down well by Garcia. Pedri couldn't quite find Yamal, and DiMarco gets rid again. Great hold up there by Thuram, and they're in again here, Inter. Here's Dumfries, and he's found Lautaro Martinez again. Nicely cut out down that side by Martinez. Lovely reverse ball by Lamine Yamal. It's end to end at the minute. Here's Dani Olmo. He's broke in behind. Olmo, he's looking for options and has the shot, which goes well wide of goal. He should have probably made more of that opportunity. He took a deflection off of Cherby on the way through. It will be a corner, but Dani Olmo looked a little bit lost there. Tried to come forward, drove into the box, and I think he was looking for options and just a little bit unsure of himself going for that shot. In the end, the shot was deflected and got a corner, but a little bit unsure of himself there, Dani Olmo. Barca have a corner. Well, their third goal last week in response to Inter taking the lead once again against them was an absolute sensation from Rafinha. Bounced off the back of Jan Sommer, went down as an own goal, but that was a straight off the training ground technique last week. Tried the more traditional one there and headed away at the front post by Mkhitaryan. "28 minutes gone. Inter 1, Barcelona 0. 4-3 on aggregate to the home side. It is by far a Champions League classic. No doubt about that. And there's no doubting both sides have immense quality. You know, I do believe sometimes the strength of Inter's defence might sway and kind of cloud the judgment of people when they kind of talk about their attack and how good their attack is. I mean, Lautaro Martinez, a top quality attacker, is that was shot from distance there from Pedri, was well over the bar. But their attack maybe sometimes gets kind of swept under the radar a little bit because of how good their defence is. And maybe that could be a bit of a detriment to Inter in a sense that maybe some underrate them and kind of unfairly underrate them. You know, Marcus Thuram might not have had a great Euros. He certainly had a great season at Inter this season, league-wise, and as has Lautaro Martinez. Well, that wasn't great from Bisek. He got away with it, but my goodness, he slipped in his own box clearing the ball. Not got away with that one. Down the right side, the ball into the box towards Torres. Ferran Torres saw a deflection on the way through there. It was Barella that got caught. Down that left side, it was Rafinha that whipped it in, and Ferran Torres should have flicked it across the near post. Well, blocked by Cherby in behind for a corner, but that was a nervy moment for Inter there defensively. It all came from that awkward clearance from Bisek. Another corner for Barca, almost to deliver, right-footed towards Jan Sommer, who punches away. Could have caught that one. The Swiss decided to go for the punch technique. And Barca have the throw down the left side. Remember, if the game is level on the night, if it ends in a draw after 90 minutes here this evening, we will be heading to extra time and penalties to decide a winner. Either of these two teams win on the night, they head straight through to the final. It's pretty simple. Not much complication there. That's great endeavour in the midfield there from Barca. The cross from Martin came in. Punched away again by Jan Sommer. Rafinha keeps it alive. Fairly central there, Rafinha. Here he is again. Here's Pedri. Again to Rafinha. Very crowded central area from Inter again. De Jong. Wide on the left, Martin whips a cross in, cleared away by the Inter defence. That was an awkward header by Inigo Martinez under little to no pressure, and that just breaks apart that Barcelona momentum, and Inter have the throw in. And so far, the stats reflect a fairly even game so far, despite Inter leading. Both have had the same number of shots and chances in the game. Both goalkeepers have made one save apiece, but Inter slightly edging the XG with more threatening chances so far from Inter's point of view than Barca's. And Barca certainly dominating the possession with over 65% of the ball. They do have on the night an aggregate deficit to try and overturn to Barcelona. And by 1 goal, as they overcame a 2-goal deficit, as I said, last week in the first half. It's nicely cut out from Martinez there. Now here's Dani Olmo breaking forward. Tracked all the way by Federico Di Marco, and that foul will get Barcelona a free kick. Jonathan says this game isn't staying 1-0, maybe 6-5 Inter. Would that be on aggregate? I wouldn't like to think it would be 6-5 on the night. I mean, you never know. Here's Lamine Yamal, lays it off to Garcia with a deep cross, and the ball was in there. Was there a deflection on the way through? I don't think there was. I think it was just a straight shot from Ferran Torres that went wide. It was. He stretched around Bisek trying to get the shot off, and in the end, just hits it wide. A little bit better from Barcelona, but once again, Ferran Torres very well marked in the box. A long clearance from Sommer. Goes out for a Barcelona throw down the left-hand side. Well, of course, these two met back in 2010 on the road to Inter's 3rd Champions League triumph. 15 years ago, these two met at the semi-final stage. It was Pep v Jose back then. Jose Mourinho and Pep Guardiola. Two icons of the game. Two coaching giants, and it was Jose Mourinho that came out the man on top on that night. Again, a bit force from Barcelona there. Rafinha did well to block the pass from Bisek, but it will be another Inter throw. It's a little bit forceful, Barca. Patient in these early moments. As Bisek will tick this throw in down the right side. 10 minutes are ready to go with the first half. First half that's absolutely flew by. Barca winning it in a tight area there. Lovely little dribble from Pedri, and he's got a breakaway here. Dani Olmo lays it off to Lamine Yamal, who tried to cross it, I believe, and it was too far ahead of Ferran Torres. Might he have had the shot there, Lamine Yamal. Again, it was Lautaro Martinez, closed down well by Rafinha. It's Pedri that breaks away. Plays it beautifully onto Dani Olmo. Lovely little dribble. And Olmo finds it out wide to Lamine Yamal. Takes the ball with him. I don't know whether he's trying to cross it or shoot. But either way, it didn't find its target. And either the back of the net or Ferran Torres' foot. And in the end, it goes behind for a goal kick. Again, that's what Barca can do in quick transition when they're up for it. And Dani Olmo was a little bit caught there, a little late after that moment. And he's okay to continue. There's Dani Olmo. Already one casualty to the two teams from last week. Jules Koundé, who is injured. And I believe Hakan Çalhanoğlu's been given a yellow card for that challenge. I do believe that's the case. We'll get the confirmation of that, but I don't know whether it did flash up on my screen, whether I was seeing things. Barca a little bit caught at the back here. Dumfries blocked. Barella shot blocked again. Again, a little bit loose from Barcelona at the back again. Looking a little bit dazed so far. Certainly defensively, Barcelona. Inter trying to exploit that time and time again with that forward run of Denzel Dumfries, who has free roam down that right hand side. Here comes the long throw from Dumfries towards Bisek, well cut out, and the shot from distance is just a whisker wide from Henrik Mkhitaryan. Bounces perfectly. What a strike with a volley. It just curls ever so slightly wide. That was an opportunity on the volley there from Henrik Mkhitaryan. My goodness, that wasn't too far away. And Inter might have been feeling a bit of deja vu if they had found the second goal there. Rafinha wanted the little flick. Wanted a foul there with Gerard Martin. No foul, referee says play on. A Sommer just about clears it away. Over the head of the players in there. Another throw to Barcelona. Çalhanoğlu was booked there for that foul. Now on my screen it does not tell me, or it does not inform me, that any of the players involved tonight are subject to a yellow card away from missing the final. But I thought that Hakan Çalhanoğlu was on that warning from last week, but clearly not from what we've heard. But he was booked last week, so maybe it doesn't carry over. I would have thought it did, but in the end he was booked, Çalhanoğlu, but for the moment, from what I can gather, he is not suspended for a possible final that Inter would be in if they win tonight. Here's Lamine Yamal trying to deny her to that chance. He chops inside, he's brought down. Referee says a fair challenge. He got the ball, the defender. I think there wasn't much calls from the Barcelona players for a penalty. They still feel there's a chance to score here. Pedri, as Lamal's back to his feet. Pedri sliding in, losing the ball there. And now Thuram feeds it perfectly in behind for Denzel Dumfries again. He's got Lautaro Martinez in the middle. A lot more Barca shirts in his way this time. And blocked off well at the near side by Gerard Martin. Denzel Dumfries is looking some threat down that right side for Inter. See this possible penalty challenge again. I mean, Lamine Yamal skips past Mkhitaryan, then Di Marco, and what a challenge by Alessandro Bastoni. Never a penalty. Great challenge. Absolutely great challenge. As Dumfries will take this long throw. I'll get to Jonathan's comment in a moment about the yellow cards. Long throw from Dumfries, flicked on by Thuram. The falls! And another shot from range, and this time Hakan Çalhanoğlu. And he hits it wide, just like his fellow midfielder did a minute or two ago. Again, it's a long throw, flicked on. And as Barca clear it, it's not convincingly cleared by Kubarsi. And it's just a whisker wide of the right post from Çalhanoğlu. I mean, just a couple of inches difference, and Barca could be 3-0 down here. That's the fine margins. Jonathan says, think all yellow's been squashed for semi-finals so players can play in final on card count, except red card you get banned. Yeah, I know that, I believe that the semi-finals, it gets reset at the start of the semi-finals again, but I didn't know whether it carried over from the first leg of the semi-final to the second leg, because I thought that would have got you banned. Here's Lautaro Martinez brought down by Kubarsi. Is that a fair challenge? Referee thinks it is. Lautaro Martinez wasn't in a good way. Simone Inzaghi is absolutely incensed down in the sidelines. He is running up and down the touchline in frustration as Barca come away with the ball. They've no reason to put it out. The referee hasn't stopped the game. Barca continue to attack here. Martinez, who is still down, the referee will now stop the game to check upon the Inter man. Simon Marciniak let that go quite a bit before checking upon the well-being of Lautaro Martinez. We have to see the challenge again. It's a risky one from Kubarsi, but he times it to perfection. That's an incredible challenge. Absolutely incredible. We're checking the... Oh. Well, VAR checking for a possible penalty now. I don't think it is. I think that's an incredible challenge from Pau Kubarsi. Times it to absolute perfection, in my opinion. And I think they have checked and cleared it. That is an incredible challenge. I think that was perfect from Pau Kubarsi. 18 years old. And they are checking for a possible penalty. Here, VAR. Is it an error from the referee? They're going to go to the screen. I think Kubarsi's made a very clean challenge here. But the VAR has recommended Simon Marciniak to go and have a look. And I think they might give a penalty here. Barcelona players remonstrating. The decision hasn't been given yet, but I think this is... Well, we see it from the reverse angle. Does he catch the man? Ooh. Does he get enough of the ball? Ooh. It's a close one. The referee says penalty. Penalty to Inter Milan. Deemed it a foul by Pau Kubarsi. From the reverse angle, it is much more a penalty than any other angle. And I think Kubarsi, I thought, had timed it right. But when you see the reverse angle, it looked like it was just a little bit late. It is minimal difference. But is that what VAR is there for, to spot those moments when the referee doesn't on the field? I think it's harsh. But can you argue with the referee seeing that again and giving a penalty? I don't think you really can. And Inter now with an incredible chance to do what they did last week. Have a 2-goal lead against Barcelona in the first half. This time they might have a 2-goal lead heading into the half. And a chance to double their lead, which would certainly give them breathing room. It's Calhanoglu. Missed his earlier chance. Can he take this opportunity to give Inter a 2-goal lead on the night and on aggregate? Up against Szczesny. Referee trying to sort out any encroachment issues before this penalty is taken. Calhanoglu will now get the tickets. Up against Szczesny. Calhanoglu rockets it into the bottom left corner. Lovely penalty by Hakan Calhanoglu. Vast experience in this competition and could be trumping youthful exuberance, and Inter doubling their lead on the night and on the tie. They might just be a sniff away from a second Champions League final in 3 years. It's all kicked off afterwards, emotions riding high, but Inter are in dreamland at the moment, and they find themselves 2 goals up on the night and 2 goals up on aggregate. Fantastic. Cool, calm, collected from Hakan Calhanoglu. And that's not the only drama that's been happening, because I said it's all kicked off afterwards, as we see some of the dignitaries celebrating in the stands. This is a massive game and a massive lead for Inter Milan at this moment in time. And it's been all boiling over. It's Inigo Martinez that the camera focusing on. It's Lautaro Martinez, no relation, I don't think, anyway, between the two players. But it's all boiling over, and I don't know whether the VAR has to have a look at maybe more drama. Is there a red card check? I have to wait and see. Simon Marciniak. There was a slight check for a possible red card, but that check is complete. No red card. Goodness me. The referee is having some crazy game to deal with. My goodness. And the home crowd inside this wonderful historic stadium, hoping their side don't throw away a 2-goal lead like they did last week, and hoping this might be the night they can see off Barcelona. Could it be 15 years in waiting for Inter? The last time they beat Barca in a semi-final, they won this competition. Could that be a massively good omen for them? As we had one additional minute at the end of this half, by the way. But after all the drama that's happened in the last few minutes, it all depends on when the referee wants to call the end of the first half that we will be going into the interval. It's been a crazy game in this first half for very different reasons than it was last week. It's just been mental. There is the half-time whistle. And it's got a little bit frayed. The tension's certainly visible inside San Siro between the two sets of players. This is what it all means for them. This is what their seasons come down to. As Lautaro Martinez and Inigo Martinez have a little chat there before half-time. But Barcelona may be two down, but they've been in that position before and found a way back. If there's any team in Europe that can find a way back from this position, it's Barcelona. But Inter, my goodness, are in some position at half-time. Half-time in this semi-final second leg of the Champions League. It's Inter Milan 2, Barcelona 0. Inter lead by 5-3 on aggregate. We'll be back for analysis of that first half when we come back. Welcome back to Champions League Live this Tuesday night here on LFS. It's Inter Milan against Barcelona in the second leg of the Champions League semi-finals here this evening. It is Inter 2, Barcelona 0 at half-time, and it's 5-3 to Inter on aggregate over the two legs. Absolutely sensational tie so far. I mean, what more can you ask for when we're watching this? I mean, 8 goals over, what, 100 and... trying to work out my quick maths here. 135 minutes of football. Quite a quality first and second leg so far. And we have another 45 minutes at the very least to come, because you wouldn't rule out it possibly going to extra time and penalties. But so far in that first half, it has been Inter that are by far the better of the two sides. in that first half, and deservedly have an advantage like they have. And of course, coming into this one tonight, they will know what they did last week. They got to a 2-goal lead inside 20 minutes against Barcelona last week and threw it all away. By goodness, one of the talks and one of the conversations they'll be having at half-time is do not do that again from a 2-goal lead, I am sure. But as I said, if there's any team in European football that can find a way back from 2-0 down, it is Barcelona, with the quality of player that they have in their starting 11. And really, for Inter, it's similar to last week in a sense that, yes, they've had less possession, but what they've done so well is just be so clinical and so threatening on the break that every time Barcelona lose the ball, Inter are right back at them. They're throwing them back, they're charging forward, Inter, and they're doing it with such intensity that they're really catching Barcelona out. And Barcelona are looking a little bit weak and very vulnerable, definitely, from those sort of positions when in transition, because Inter, using Denzel Dumfries as a very, very kind of in-transition player, carrying Inter from back to front and end up almost kind of involving himself intrinsically in the attack, which, of course, got them the opening goal in that sense. And I mean, what a goal it was, and I'll see those goals back in a moment. But again, it was very similar to the first leg of Barcelona having a lot of the possession, a lot of the opportunity on the ball, but Inter, when they get on the ball in those lesser moments than Barca, with a lot less of the ball, Inter, when they do get the ball, they're more intense, they're much, much more kind of threatening in transition, and Barcelona look a little bit kind of wavered when they get the ball, because they're, again, there is still a threat there from Barcelona. I'm not discounting that whatsoever, but it has been less of a threat tonight than it was last week in that first half, certainly. And Inter Milan, most certainly, repeating what they did last week and probably bettering it in a sense, in the way that they've been just a little bit more stronger defensively in that first half. But what a stadium, and what a scene of football we have witnessed so far in that first half. A great first half, certainly. And again, we start with the first goal. And again, what I said before the game, and I said at the start of the game, was how I expected Barcelona to press very high, to be very intense in their press, and to be very kind of threatening when they win the ball back in those moments. And quite ironically, it's the opposite that happens. It's Inter on their press. They press to win the ball back in the midfield, and it's Barca that gets countered on ever so quickly. Again, it all started with Bisek early in the game, and they find the space, and it was Thuram in behind, and this is the one that he tries to go around the goalkeeper, Szczesny, and he was offside on that one. And then we instantly see it again. They press it back, but in the end, Barcelona try and win it back again. They lose it in midfield. DeMarco with a fabulous press, played it through to Denzel Dumfries on the run, in behind, and he squares it beautifully across to Lautaro Martinez for that opening goal. Quite remarkable. And it comes from that press. Inter try and press for the ball. He lost it. Or they lost it, sorry. Barcelona got it back, trying to progress it forward. Inter intense in the press again. Win the ball back and instantly in behind. Right behind to try and get that opening goal. And it was beautifully worked. Again, fantastic counter press from Inter. Great first time ball. Lovely little square ball. And a nice finish. It's beautiful and perfect. And it's what you want as a team. That's what you call a team goal. And it was quite remarkable, a team goal. Then we talk about the penalty. Again, it comes from an Inter press. Sloppy pass from Barca. Inter press it. Feed it wide to Martinez again. And initially, I thought this was a perfect challenge by Pau Cubarsí. It looked exceptional from the reverse angle where we couldn't really see a clean angle on it. But as we see it from behind the goal, you can see Pau Cubarsí just a little bit late. And Lautaro Martinez is caught before Cubarsí gets a touch on the ball. And therefore, just that split second late is enough for a penalty to be given. It's harsh on the youngster, but again, it's those fine margins in football, literal millimetres, that is the difference between a fantastic challenge and a penalty. And in the end, the penalty, stepping up Hakan Çalhanoğlu, and absolutely slotting it so simply, so nicely, so calmly, and so pristinely into the bottom left corner. There was no way, even if Szczesny dove the right way, the sheer power behind the penalty from Çalhanoğlu would have forced it past him. That was right in the corner as well from Çalhanoğlu. Really accurate. I mean, Szczesny dived the wrong way anyway. It didn't really matter. But, yeah, great penalty by Çalhanoğlu. And into 2-goal lead. And by God, they deserve it. Certainly so. Certainly so. But I do think, I will say it, although I think Barcelona have been a little bit off it so far, I don't think they've been quite up to their standards and quite up to what we know Barcelona to be, and certainly what we saw from them last week. I do still think there's a way back into this tie. I mean, you could argue, do you see Inter conceding 2 goals tonight? I wouldn't ask that question. I would ask the question of, do you see Barcelona scoring 2 goals tonight? And on that evidence in the first half, I would say no. But I would say overall, Barca have that threat where they can turn it on and can score 2 goals in a matter of minutes. They did it last week against Inter. Now, I do think Inter's defence is a little bit more solid and a little bit more on it tonight than they were last week. And they've got the support of the home crowd to kind of spur them on a little bit more. But I do think if Barca get the next goal, it is certainly back on. But I mean, if Inter score the next one, it is certainly over a 3-goal deficit. Is nigh on impossible to overcome, especially in one half of football. If Inter score next, the tie is done. But some would argue the tie is already done with Inter's defence being so strong. But I wouldn't be too quick to say that at this moment in time so far. But Barcelona have a lot of work to do if they're going to get themselves into the final. And I gotta say, I mean, whoever gets through to the final would deserve it, because this has been a great tie so far. But we do want that little bit of a fight back, and maybe that last-minute winner. You know, maybe we're asking too much. We've already seen 8 goals, but over the 2 legs so far. But maybe we just want that fairy tale story of maybe Barcelona battling all the way back, and then one of the 2 teams winning it come the end. That's what we would love to see in the second half. But we'll see if that's the case. Simone Inzaghi absolutely going mental, along with all of his players, when Lautaro Martinez scored, and then the crowd erupted when Hakan Çalhanoğlu found the net from the penalty spot to make it 2. This crowd inside San Siro loving it so far, and who can blame them? Their side, who haven't won this competition in 15 years, back in 2010 where they were last champions of Europe. Well, they might just be 45 minutes away from having another shot of it, and a second shot at a Champions League final in 3 years. They were in the 2023 final. They narrowly lost to Man City 1-0 in that one. But can they get that chance again to be in another final? Barcelona haven't been in the final in almost 10 years. It will be 10 years this season since Barcelona were in the final. It was the 2015 final, which they won. So whenever Barca get the finals, they don't really lose. They've won the last 4 Champions League finals they've been in. But they need to find a way back in the second leg of this semi-final if they are going to get to that final. It's advantage Inter at the break, but there's still 45 minutes to go, and anything can still happen. Second half between Inter and Barcelona on the way very shortly. Welcome back to Champions League Live at half-time. It is Inter 2, Barcelona 0 on the night. 5-3 to Inter on aggregate here this evening. The second half in this second leg is on the way in just a moment. Don't forget, though, we have another semi-final second leg for you tomorrow night. And this one, if you thought this one was tight, well, this one is as tight, if not tighter, tomorrow night. When PSG host Arsenal. PSG's narrow 1-0 lead from the first leg when Ousmane Dembele scored for Paris Saint-Germain at the Emirates. Has PSG with the advantage heading into that one at the Parc des Princes tomorrow night. We'll see if Arsenal can overturn that deficit. Of course, they might not be secured second place in the Premier League, but their biggest priority is trying to get to a Champions League final for the first time in 19 years for Arsenal. 2006, their last Champions League final. But PSG, they were in the final in 2020. Both have never won the competition, so that's another massive storyline to take into this season's final. Whoever goes through, we'll see who that will be tomorrow. And of course tonight they will find out who one of those two teams will face in the final, because the second half between Inter and Barca is on the way. Let's quickly show you what's to come then. This is what it means, of course, over the two legs so far. We haven't updated that. There we are. From tonight's, and that's tomorrow night's fixture as well. And in the live final, Saturday the 31st of May, to round off the season in 3.5 weeks' time. And we will see the two winners of the semi-finals, of course, come together for the showpiece event to round off the league season, or to round off the domestic season for all of these sides. And we will see. It looks like it's advantage Inter at half-time, but can Barcelona battle back? Don't forget to like, subscribe and turn on post notifications if you haven't done so already. That would be greatly appreciated. And we thank you all for joining us tonight on this one in the Champions League. It's Inter 2, Barcelona 0 on the night. Inter 5, Barcelona 3 on aggregate. An incredible aggregate scoreline. And an aggregate scoreline is pretty easy to decipher. It was level in the first leg, so it means whoever wins on the night is the winner of the tie. It's pretty simple. And so far, it's Inter with a 2-goal lead at half-time, with an advantage that I don't think they only could have dreamed of, but they certainly could have. Sorry for not responding to you, ZM7, or ZM7. Says, please, I subbed. Thank you very much for subscribing there, and great to have you involved with us tonight. Sorry it took a long time for me to respond to that comment, but thank you very much for getting involved. As we're back out on the field, ready for the second half. Barcelona are going to have a 10 out of 10 half here if they're going to find a way back as we get it back underway in this one. They probably would need an early goal in this second half to just unsettle the Inter fans and settle a little bit of nerves their own fans would be feeling. They haven't been at their best so far tonight, Barcelona. Just been a little bit off it, and that drop of a % or two off what they're really capable of is the difference. It can be the difference to give Inter every little bit of advantage they need to get through. They just weren't threatening enough in the first half, Barcelona. It's down to that, simply. You know, they weren't getting in front of goal enough. They weren't testing Jan Sommer enough in that first half. And that's the basics of it. No problem, ZM7. Thank you very much for the support in the chat there. But they just weren't threatening enough. He's Pedri. Trying to apply that threat early. Gerard Martin with a cross. Cleared away by Acerbi. Brought down by Thuram, but that was better from Barcelona, pressing to win it back. Inigo Martinez to Eric Garcia, out wide to Lamine Yamal. Carries it forward, does Garcia. Lays it off to Yamal again. A little bit of space here for Barcelona. Yamal skipping past his man, chipping it across goal. No one there in the middle. Martin to deliver it back in. DeMarco, an awkward header, and he clears it away at danger. Well, one back again by Barcelona, although they're going to be penalised here for a challenge on Lautaro Martinez, and Inter get the foul. Yeah, Martinez, the ball was gone, and Frankie de Jong just shoves Martinez out of the way. And a free kick to Inter there. Bisek. Barella, a bit of a heavy touch. Now he's Barca to step in with Martin and win it back. Here's Pedri. Around the corner, finding Ferran Torres. Couldn't quite squeeze through the lines. And again, Inter scramble it away with Barella. Game finally poised at the moment between the two sides as Frankie de Jong caught on the ball there by Marcus Thuram. And it's a 3-on-3 for Inter. Thuram a little bit behind Lautaro Martinez with that pass. And then the return ball to Thuram was intercepted by Frankie de Jong. Making up for his earlier mistake. Olmo. Yamal. Trying to find Dani Olmo again. Just a little bit loose with their passing, Barca. It's not quite as sharp as they were in the first leg with their passing. The first leg they were zipping it around. It's like a bit laboured from Barcelona so far. It's Yamal. Back to Garcia. Yamal again. Again squeezing it through, but a little bit awkward with that ball. And then again, Barca caught because they played another loose ball, and it's Pedri chasing back against DeMarco. A little bit out of position there. And DeMarco returned back the way because he had no forward support really. And they all come all the way back to Jan Sommer. Again, it was sloppy from Barcelona. Olmo. Rafinha lays it off to Olmo as Rafinha goes down. Olmo flicks it on for Lamine Yamal. He was blocked off and defended quite strongly. And defended quite fairly, says the referee. Just a goal kick to Inter. See it again. Yamal gets past Bastoni. Was he dragged to the ground? I don't think he was. I think Bastoni just got a firm grip on him and was just defending there. Alessandro Bastoni. I don't think that's a foul. I mean, I understand why Lamine Yamal wants it, obviously, but it's not a foul. Dumfries wins the far header, but de Jong receives it and retrieves it for Barcelona. Yamal again trying to take on 2 or 3 players. That time he was closed out. And Bastoni trying to target Marcus Thuram. Took a heavy touch. Inigo Martinez, did he time that right? I don't think he did. And it's going to be a yellow card to Inigo Martinez for that challenge on Marcus Thuram. Again, it's great threat from Inter. Again, just a little bit late from Inigo Martinez. And that's great from Marcus Thuram, carrying his team forward, getting them up the field, keeping Barca a little bit nervy at the back. One thing Barcelona don't need is to concede another one. Most certainly not. And they have a free kick to defend here. Concede a 3rd goal and it's good night Barca. DeMarco and Çalhanoğlu. Çalhanoğlu's delivery. And the header into the corner. Is he onside? He's offside. A very high line. And they're miles offside there. It's a good header. Very good header by Acerbi, but he's miles offside there. Very easily offside. That's what I mean about Barcelona. The defensive line is so high that you really need to wait to the very last second to try and keep yourself onside. It's high risk, high reward for Barcelona. That's what they regard it as. It might be risky, but they certainly feel that the benefits of it outweigh the threats and the disadvantages. Here's Gerard Martin, Pedri, Rafinha. Need to be a little bit more crisp with their passing, Barcelona. Not been able to get into rhythm all night. If they do, then it's time to fear them. Pedri switching the ball out to Yamal, who has to take evasive action against DiMarco, but he lost the ball in the process there, the youngster. And Mkhitaryan strides away with the ball. Cherby. Wide it goes to Mkhitaryan. Look at the runners in behind again. But nicely received and dealt with by Inigo Martinez. Now Kubarsi. Into De Jong. Now Lamine Yamal. Onto Pedri. Very central is Rafinha. It's not as wide as he was last week. He's very kind of inverted. Here's Lamine Yamal. Wants to do the same. Comes central. Finds Pedri. Try to roll it on. Pedri gets it again. Finds Gerard Martin. They're trying to carve a way through here. Barca. Martin's cross, and it's... What a finish! That's a goal and a half from Eric Garcia. And instead of Barca score next, it's really game on. And Barca have got a goal back. And it's Eric Garcia who couldn't have hit it any better than he did. And the man who comes in for the injured Jules Koundé tonight makes a great impact at the start of the second half and keeps this semi-final incredibly well poised. It's great endeavour from Pedri and Gerard Martin. It doesn't work out the first time, but they keep it alive. And Martin whips it round the back post again. And Eric Garcia connects with it absolutely stupendously right into the top corner. And he gets Barcelona back. They barely celebrate, the Barca players, because this game is still in Inter's advantage. But Barca have got the momentum now. And it's game well on. Wow. Wow. That's all you can really say. Wow. It's a great goal. Really, really good goal. As looks like they're going to make a change here. Inter. Federico Di Marco is going to come off, and it's going to be Carlos Augusto that's coming on. Coming on a lot earlier than he did last week, Augusto. He came on for Di Marco. He did. Actually, around about the same time, actually. 56th minute. And 55th minute this week. Almost exactly the same time. Oh, a long shot from distance. And Szczesny called into action there for Nico Barella's shot. Forces it for a corner. Barella with a clean hit. I mean, Szczesny really can't afford to try and catch it with a whip on it and the pace on it. Just has to parry it wide, but Szczesny had to make that save, and Inter now have a corner. It's finding that balance for Barcelona. They need to try and score another, but they have to try and deny Inter at the other end. Corner whipped in, bouncing around the box, but brought down by Yamal. And look at the space opening up here for Barca on the counter-attack. It's Martin, and look at it's 3-on-2. They have to make most of this. It's Martin, and squares it across. Oh, what a save by Jan Sommer. That is a claw from absolute nowhere. And here they come again. Martin going for the cross, well blocked. But what an advantageous moment for Barcelona. A 3-on-2. Martin tried to square it across and the shot came in. And what a save by Jan Sommer. As Martin was brought down there by Bastoni. Got to see this on the counter. Blistering counter. It all starts with the coolness of Yamal. The step back inside. And he finds the space. Look at this. 3-on-2 for Barcelona. They're tapping it between each other. And then the finish. Absolute incredible save by Jan Sommer. Wonderful. Gerard Martin goes for the early cross. Whipped in. Too deep. It's cleared away by Inter. Whipped back in by Garcia again. This time far too much. Well wide. Well, goodness me. Yeah, see that counter again. It was Martin across and it was Eric Garcia again. If he just guides that to the bottom corner, it's 2-2. But he hits it so well that it allows Jan Sommer to make the save. If he'd have just mishit that into the corner, that would have been another goal for Barca and another for Eric Garcia. I mean, my goodness. If you had to pick one player in this Barcelona side to have a chance at scoring 2 goals in this second half, I would say Eric Garcia would probably be second last on the list. Probably just ahead of Chesney, the goalkeeper. I mean, not in a million years would have you said that it would be Eric Garcia with the 2 golden chances for Barcelona in the first 12 minutes of this second half to get them back on terms. He's got one of them. And he took the other one probably too well. And look at this. Lovely from Yamal. Sent Augusto napping. And he's speeding away. Caught there was Lamine Yamal by Alessandro Bastoni. It's going to be a free kick to Barcelona. And going to be an opportunity here. Yeah, Yamal absolutely leaves Augusto for dead. Charges away and then tries to skip around Bastoni. He just takes him out there. Yeah, sticks his left leg out to block Lamine Yamal. It's a free kick to Barcelona here. And this game has really swung. As Rafinha takes it. Blocked there maybe by his own man. Gets it back to Rafinha. Trying to whip it. Doesn't get anywhere near the amount of height on it he needed. De Jong. But he's still in the box for Barca. Here's Martin. He will lift it. Right in the back post. The header is in! And that's another one. And it's a great goal. It's Dani Olmo. And Barca are all the way back. This is incredible stuff. Deja vu. Inter were 2 up last week. Barca came all the way back to 2-2. And they've done exactly the same in the second leg. 2-0 down. And inside 15 minutes, if not less, of the second half, they are right back in the mix. And it's back to level pegging. Inter Milan 2, Barcelona 2, 5-5 on aggregate. This is a Champions League game for the ages. 10 goals in as many as 145 minutes of football. Absolutely monumentous. Inter 2, Barca 2, 5-all on aggregate. This is generational. And they're in again here, Barcelona. Inter are at 6s and 7s. Here's Rafinha. Can they take the lead? Falls back to Olmo. He will hit it off balance and hits it well off target. Well, interestingly, Barca haven't led at any stage of this tie so far. They've been behind 3 times and they've come back level 3 times. But they have never led the game at any stage of this tie. And I said if there's one team in Europe that can turn it on and score a couple of goals in a couple of minutes, it's Barcelona. And my goodness, have they proved, well, me right, but they've certainly proved that. 54th minute, Eric Garcia makes it 2-1, and in the 60th minute, Dani Olmo squares the game 2-2. 5-5 on aggregate. Absolutely sensational. This is some game, some tie. Two European giants with history steeping from both clubs. And neither side wants to give this up. Martin with the ball in again. Again, a little bit loosely defended there from Inter as they scramble it away. They look a bit nervous now, the Inter defenders. And Barella scrambles it long. Szczesny should have that one under control. And I think there's going to be an offside flag up against Marcus Thuram, who was interfering with Szczesny's kick there. So, therefore, the decision will be a Barcelona free kick. Yeah, Thuram just jogging towards Szczesny, forces Szczesny to make the long kick rather than take control. And he was in an offside position, so therefore interfering with the game from an offside position, so therefore a free kick to Barca. Well, less than a half an hour to go. 28 minutes or so to go with this tie. And we do not want it to end. It has been, certainly, in my opinion, one of the best Champions League ties I've ever seen. It's incredible. And even the quality of all of the goals. They're just fantastic. This is what Champions League football should be about. This is what it's all weighing up for. And this is, I said it last week, this is worthy of a final. Never mind a semi-final, these two battling. Maybe we were spoiled of the proper final we probably wanted. But what more can we ask for from what we're getting out of these two teams over the last two games? As ZM7 says, if Inter score a last minute banger, that will be generational. I mean, if either whoever wins this, it will be one of their best ever Champions League wins in their club's history. And these two have a lot of great wins in this competition. Here come Inter again. A little bit short to Dumfries. Well cut out by Gerard Martin. Well, that's one thing. Barca may have already fought all the way back, but Inter still have a threat up the other end they need to be wary of, Barcelona. Oh, they've stolen it away here. Boom, Olmo. It's Rafinha. He plays it back to Dani Olmo, who rolls it out wide, trying to find Ferran Torres. And just overcooks it. And puts it behind for a goal kick. But that was great challenging from Olmo against Bisak. Clean challenge. And they were on the move there, Barcelona. There's an offside flag up here against an Inter player. Zetaro Martinez. And that is the 5th time tonight that Inter have been called offside. 10th time over the two legs. So certainly Barca using that high line to great effect at the moment. Zapping any Inter momentum. And if there was any momentum left in Inter, it has certainly been eradicated with those two Barca goals. I said it at half-time. I just felt it. The question was not whether or not Inter would concede 2 goals. It's whether or not Barca would score 2. And when they turn it on, there is no team better in football when they attack than Barcelona this season. They've just got such quality and talent. But it's not just that. They've got such great creativity. Such great kind of incisiveness between the players. Their kind of connection between the players is so incredible that they can score from absolutely any sort of area on the pitch in any sort of situation. And Yamal bursting away from Augusto again. Here's Lamine Yamal. Can he have his moment? Chips it across. Dumfries heads it clear. Brought down by De Jong. Garcia here. Has to turn it back to Pau Cubarsí. Pedri across now to Gerard Martin. Rolling it towards Dani Olmo. Well cut out, but Pedri, lovely takedown. Finding Lamine Yamal. Yamal with an outside of the boot pass to Torres. Well closed out by Acerbi. Inter try and break away here, but Barella has the ball stolen from under him by Dani Olmo. Barca in groove here. Here comes Rafinha. Steps inside. Can't quite carry it through. And every time Inter try and break up Barcelona, Barca battle back, win the ball back and burst away on the attack. They're in rhythm. They're in the mood now, Barcelona. They're in the ascendancy, certainly. And all it takes is one brick away from Inter, and they could be right back in the lead again. That's how finely poised we are. Looks like Inter are going to be readying another change here in a moment. Matteo Darmian, that's going to be entering the fray very shortly. Yamal. Again, look at this. Absolutely incredible. A short pass by Dani Olmo breaks that attack down. Lamine Yamal certainly took something at half-time. Here he is. He's broke away. He's gone down. It's a penalty to Barcelona. Mkhitaryan says it was outside the box. Did it carry on into the box? Lamine Yamal's gone down. Is he not in a great way? See this again. It's Barca win it back. Little bit of a loose pass by Inter, and Yamal's right onto it. And as Calhanoglu challenged him outside the box, did it carry into the box? I think he's outside the box here. Does it carry in? This is a difficult one, because the initial challenge is outside the box, but does Mkhitaryan continue the foul into the box? If he does, then it is a penalty, but that's what they will be checking, because the initial challenge is certainly outside the box, but does he continue to slide through Lamine Yamal into the box? I think he might. But the contact is first outside the box. It's whether the referee feels it's inside. And I don't know what he's angling here. I think he's going to say it's no penalty. He is. So they've said that the foul was outside the box and it didn't continue in. Ooh. Oh, it's close. It's incredibly close, but I do think the foul is outside the box, so I think that's a fair decision. And it is a free kick to Barcelona. No penalty, just a free kick. This, you would say, is a big moment for Barcelona. It's Rafinha that's over it. Wide to the right. Right on the edge of the box. It is a mere half-inch away from the line. Rafinha rolls it across. Lysel combination. Yamal in the deflection. Takes it over the bar. There was a deflection off Frankie de Jong and goes for a goal kick, but right off the training ground this. Rafinha plays it across from the free kick to Olmo. Olmo lays it off to Lamine Yamal. And Yamal has the shot. And it deflects off Ferran Torres, Frankie de Jong. And goes over the bar. My goodness. I mean, even that looked complicated. Double substitution here for Inter. They've already made one change. Lautaro Martinez and Jan Bisek are going to be coming off for Inter. So a double substitution. And their captain is going to make way. The man who gave them the lead on the night, Lautaro Martinez. That gave them all the hope and belief. He's going to be making way along with Jan Bisek, the big strapping defender. And it's going to be Mehdi Taremi and Matteo Darmian that are coming on to replace them. So Taremi and Darmian replacing Martinez and Bisek for Inter. And Barcelona yet to have made a change yet in the game. Inter have already made 3 substitutions. Wow. I mean, I think after tonight, we're going to look back. Maybe not tonight, maybe not this season, maybe not in the next few months or years. It will be a long time down the line when we look back at those great comebacks in Europe, when we look at the great ties in Europe. This one will be highlighted amongst the best as one of the great ties in European football. Because, my goodness, have we been witness to incredible moments, incredible individual bits of quality, great team goals, the lot, everything over the last 1.75 games. Lamine Yamal looking for the deep cross. It's bounced its way out to the other end for Gerard Martin. He, I think, hinting at trying to get the corner or the cross there, but wins the corner off Denzel Dumfries. Does the young left back there for Barca. Dani Olmo to take this corner for Barcelona. Their third of the night. Can they find their third goal of the night with this? Short corner taken in. Yamal will try to dribble it towards the box. Has to go all the way back to Gerard Martin. And Frankie de Jong now. Back out to the original corner taker, Dani Olmo. Trying to be a bit too intricate here, Barcelona. They went for the short corner, but they've got nowhere near the box since taking the corner. Here's Lamine Yamal, though. Lifting it into the box. Too far away from any of his teammates, and that one will be easily seen out at the far side by Inter for a throw-in. I mean, Barca made a real mess of that corner. They tried to make something kind of cute and intricate with it, with the short corner, but this came to nothing. Absolutely nothing. Sommer forced that ball forward. They couldn't hold on to it, Inter. Mkhitaryan couldn't keep a hold of it, and Barca win it right back. Kubarsi maybe taking a little bit of a breather. I wouldn't disagree with that. Garcia trudges it in behind, and the flick across over the head of Ferran Torres in the box. Rafinha trying to battle with Denzel Dumfries to win it back, but Dumfries gets it long clear. Nice one, ticked down there by Inigo Martinez. The forced reverse ball was a little bit loose there from the Barca midfield, as Martinez does well, guides it back to Kubarsi, who gets it back to Szczesny. Oh my goodness. Have we got 16 minutes to go? Will we get a late winner? And will we going the full distance tonight? I wouldn't bet against the extra time and penalties being a possibility. As it looked like Barcelona are going to make a change here in a moment. Ronald Araujo is the one getting ready on the sidelines to enter the fray very shortly. The Barca number 4. So some extra defensive solidity. Maybe Hansi Flick hinting at that. Maybe doesn't want to lose the game this late. They've got all the way back, Barca. They don't want to lose it all over again. And Ronald Araujo is going to be coming on. Eric Garcia, 2 goals in 9 matches in the Champions League this season. He got Barca the belief to get back into the game with his wonderful goal. And it's going to be Inigo Martinez that's going to make way for Ronald Araujo. So a straight swap there at centre-back for Barcelona. So no extra body defensively. Just a straight swap. Some fresh legs just in the defensive line for Barca. Bit of head tennis there for the moment. And another Inter player offside. Allows Barca to get the free kick. That's the 6th offside against Inter tonight. It doesn't get old, does it? Too many times they've been caught offside. Nice give and go down that left hand side between Gavi and Gerard Martin. Played into Ferran Torres. Plays it back to Olmo. Now Yamal. Lamine Yamal trying to dribble inside. Can't really find the space. He has the shot! Good save by Jan Sommer. Where did that come from Lamine Yamal? Looked like it was no space to have a shot, and he ended up having one. Somehow trying to squeeze it through. And Jan Sommer has to dive to parry it wide. My goodness me. If that had found the net, I don't think I would have a setup anymore. I would have went nuts. That would have been unbelievable. Danny Olmo to take this corner for Barca. Right-footed corner. Flicked on. Cleared away by Inter. They look a bit tired, Inter, at the moment. I don't blame them. Come under some pressure in this second half. Barca certainly up their level from the first half. And there's an offside flag up anyway from that long ball over the top. On to Raimi. They just can't get out at the minute, Inter. Every time they get the ball forward, Barca's high line is catching them out. And every time they're playing offside, and Barca just get the ball back, and it's right back on the horse, getting attack into the attacking third again. Yamal dribbling his way through again. He's come alive all of a sudden, and Jan Sommer parries away again. I mean, Lamine Yamal is absolutely tearing it up at the minute. He hasn't scored, he hasn't got an assist, but my goodness, is he causing that right-hand side of that Inter defence a real handful. Sorry, the left-hand side of the Inter defence. Here's Gerard Martin, darts it across. Low and hard, cleared away. And Inter, as they try and break away, the ball just escapes them. There's going to be a stoppage for a substitution here again. It's Inter Milan that are going to make that change again. As Henrik Mkhitaryan was given a yellow card there, does that say he was? That was about 10 minutes ago, that was. He was given a yellow card. It's a bit strange that come up. Çalhanoğlu and Mkhitaryan are coming off here for Inter, so these are the last two subs. And it's going to be Zielinski and Fratesi that are coming on. So Nikola Zalewski, Peter Zielinski, and David Fratesi are coming on for Inter. That's their 5 substitutes done. Barca have only made 1 change so far, so they've still 4 available to them. But Inter would get an extra substitute if we go to extra time, because of course both sides would be given 6 in total over the tie, or over the game, if it goes to extra time, but 5 in normal time. Jamal lost the ball there, a little bit loose. Augusto trying to break away down the left side here for Inter, but no room as Barca pressed them. Out of possession again. Nicely won back by Pedri down that right side. Here is Pedri. Across to Kubasi. Finding it on to Olmo. Right to Gerard Martin. Just over 10 minutes to go. Inter 2, Barcelona 2. 5-5 on aggregate. Yamal. Inter have had 1 shot in the second half, compared to 8 they had in the first half. To say their attack has disintegrated would be an understatement. Barcelona has had as many shots as they did in the first half, but one interesting thing is they've had 3 more shots on target with their 6 shots than they did in the whole of the first half. They had 1 shot on target in the first, compare that to 4 in the second half. So it's been one of those where Inter's attack is diminished and Barca's has only got more fluid and much more incisive as the game's gone on. Barca are going to make another change here. Fermin Lopez is going to be coming on in a moment. As Araujo headed that one out of play for a Inter throw further up the field. I'll just tell you now, if this goes to extra time, you won't hear me complaining. I don't want this game to end. I said the same thing last week when it was 3-3. I didn't want it to end last week. Marley, welcome in. Great to have you with us. Lovely switch ball here out to Denzel Dumfries. Is there 1 shot, 1 goal coming from Inter here? The shot from Fratesi, well blocked by Kubasi. Fratesi still got it. Squares it across. A chance here maybe for Inter. Down the left hand side it comes. Augusto trying to get it across. And Araujo will clear long. That's better from Inter. That's what they've... It's almost like they've flicked the switch back on. There was a circuit error. They've just fixed a little issue. They're right back to where they were at the end of the first half there, Inter. Dani Olmo is going to be coming off. And Fermin Lopez is coming on here for Barcelona. So another single substitution for Barca. Remember, you can make 5 subs, but they have to be at 3 separate times in the game. You're only allowed at least 3, the most 3 separate substitution windows. So Barca have already used 2 of their sub windows for 2 single subs. So they have 3 substitutes left, but only 1 window left to use them. Now, of course, they will get the extra one if we go to extra time. Of course, which would give them 2 windows to make 4 subs. A little bit loose in the possession there, Barca, with that Frenkie de Jong. Hooked clear by Gerard Martin. And they're hooking it in the air here. De Jong lost the ball again. He's a bit sloppy at times tonight, Frenkie de Jong. Not at his crisp best. That was a nice header back by Gerard Martin to Wozniak Szczesny. Seven minutes to go of normal time. Inter 2, Barcelona 2 on the night. 5-5 on aggregate. Here's Lamine Yamal again. Rolls it back to Garcia. Started this Barcelona comeback. Eric Garcia. That cracking top corner finish from a deep cross. Fullback to fullback it was. That opened the scoring for Barca tonight. And then it was Gerard Martin again that find the ball to Dani Olmo. For him to head it. Diving header into the net for 2-2. All this from another 2-goal lead for Inter. Like they did in the first leg, they threw that one away. In the end, they got a draw out of that one. After leading by 2 goals, I think Barca might be glad that they're in this position. Are they going to throw it away now? Thuram's got him behind, and the ball goes cleared away, but he was offside anyway, Marcus Thuram. Again, you never know. I mean, of course, the many times Barcelona play offside, but you never truly know, do you? Thuram, he was quite a distance offside there. As there was a collision between Darmian and Fermin Lopez there. And I think the foul's gone the way of Barcelona, has it? It looks like, because it's Darmian that's... Oh, done a bit of dancing there. Matteo Darmian. He flicked the right leg up. Slightly caught Fermin Lopez. It was accidental, but it is a foul. We see the goals again. All quality goals, by the way. There is no goal there where I'd say, oh, that's an awful goal, or that's really not befitting of a semi-final. Every goal we have witnessed over the 2 legs, all 10 goals, have been top quality, top class. I mean, it's just the best of the best. And I mean, you might fear, I mean, I don't think either team would care if they get to a final. I don't think they'd care how they play in the final. But you would say there's no way they would be better in the final than they have been in this semi-final so far. Either of these two. I don't think they could up the level any more than what they've shown. De Jong did well tracking that runner of Taremi. And just intercepting that pass to retrieve the ball for Barcelona. The clock is ticking away. But is there another 30 minutes on the cards of extra time, and then maybe a possible penalty shootout to come? Nice ball into Garcia here. Garcia. A roll back from Torres. It's a little bit wasteful. And now the run in behind. Szczesny's committed, and he needed to, as he absolutely hoofed that one long. The Barcelona player, or the Inter player, sorry, was onside, I think. There was it Denzel Dumfries running behind? No, it wasn't. It was Marcus Thuram. He was onside that time. Szczesny was there. Here's Lamine Yamal. Dribbling his way down the right side again. Brought down. No foul, said the referee. Fairly won back by Nico Barella. Again, they give it away cheaply, Inter. And the ball darted into Rafinha. Good save by Sommer. Another one! Finds the back of the net. Just like he did last week, Rafinha scores a third Barcelona goal. But this time it's for the lead. Barcelona have waited maybe to the very death. The 11th goal gives Barcelona the lead on the tie, on the night, on aggregates, and Barcelona could be heading to the Champions League final. It's a cheap giveaway of possession by Inter in their own half. Nice ball fed to Rafinha. The first shot saved by Sommer, but the ball bounces back into the path of Rafinha. He hits it with the right foot. It finds the bottom right corner. That is fantastic from Rafinha. A sensation of a forward who's been quiet tonight, but he steps up and makes himself known when he needs to the most. That is an incredible goal. And Barcelona hadn't led for 176 minutes of this tie. Seemingly have the lead with mere minutes to go of the tie as a whole. And my goodness, shell shock for Inter Milan. Shell shock for San Siro. And those in blue and black tonight. But my goodness me, what a comeback from Barcelona. From 2-0 down at half-time. How many said it wasn't possible? How many said they couldn't do it? I wasn't one of them. But I certainly didn't see that they would come back and score 3 and win it outright on the night. I was thinking extra time and penalties, and I think many of us were in the final couple of minutes. But Barcelona have gone and raised their level even higher than some thought were possible. They have been not at their very best for the majority of tonight, and they might not be done here yet. Inter might be in again, trying to get another one to get back in the tie, and it's cleared away. And that's going to be a free kick to Barcelona. That's very smart. Very, very smart from Pedri there. Getting the foul off Francesco Acerbi. And that's going to get Barcelona, a free kick in the last minute of the 90. Well, from their grasp, Barcelona seemingly have snatched it away from Inter Milan. And look, they don't even need him to come on. And they will be. Robert Lewandowski is going to be coming on. Ferran Torres, who's been another one that's not been the most involved. Certainly not been at his ample best tonight. Ferran Torres. Robert Lewandowski, one of the most ruthless strikers in Europe. Still at this fine age of 35. One of the best in his position. And he's on for the final few minutes, just as a little bit of a extra pompous from Barcelona. 5 added minutes. Barca don't have any subs left. Of course, that was their third single substitution, so they've made 3 in 3 windows. So if it does go to extra time, both will get an extra sub, but at the minute, they don't need that. Barca just want to waste as much time as possible. There's another ball on the pitch. They're trying all the tricks here. Simon Marciniak has to get this in check. They're trying to throw many's a ball onto the field here. Nico Barella that's standing over this free kick for Inter. Their dreams and hopes of a second Champions League final in 3 years might be running away from them as Barella delivers in. Again, cleared away by Barcelona. And they're in no hurry to try and clear it. And they just let it go for a throw into Inter on the far side. It will be Bastoni that will take. Long throw into the box. Can Inter give us one last twist? The ball bounces in the box. Taken away by Pedri. That's ruled out of play for another Inter throw on the left side. It will be Bastoni again. 3.5 minutes. Bastoni, long throw, flicked on the near side, but cleared away from Augusto. And look at Lamine Yamal bursting away. It's a 3-on-3 for Barca. It's Lamine Yamal lays it off to Pedri. They're not in a major hurry. Back out to Yamal it goes. There's bodies arriving in the box. Lamine Yamal wants to hit one, hits the post and cleared away. My goodness, if that had to find the back of the net, that was game, set and match. Lamine Yamal rifling it off the right post. You wouldn't bet against him. There's a lot of colliding and battling in the box there. And Barca clear it away. They wanted a handball there, Inter, but Robert Lewandowski's hand that was by his side. There's nothing in that. 2.5 minutes to go. Sommer pumps it forward. Inter bodies up the field here. Ball rolled towards Dumfries. And a bit of a scramble. Dumfries keeps it. Dumfries across the flick on. It's in! Oh my goodness! It's Francesco Acerbi. And they've got back in it again. 93rd minute. Inter a level. Barcelona had turned it all around. But Inter have snatched an equalizer. And it looks like we're going to be heading to extra time. Inter 3, Barcelona 3. And it's Francesco Acerbi. But it is the determination of Denzel Dumfries down this right-hand side. You think he's lost the ball. You think Barca have got it back, but Dumfries stretches back, wins it back, squares it across. And the finish from Francesco Acerbi is absolutely fantastic. The 37-year-old centre-back absolutely rockets it. Incredible. Szczesny had no chance. And when you just think this tie's over, there's another twist, there's another chance, there's another goal. Goal number 12. 6 and 8. My goodness, what's going to happen next? Acerbi gets a yellow card for taking his shirt off. But my goodness. I can't believe this. 3-3 on the night. 6-6 on aggregate. I didn't think this was possible. There's cards flying out everywhere now. Hansi Flick's been given a yellow card. There's some Barcelona coaches that are going to get a yellow card. This is not what you want to see. And just as Barca thought they were winning it, they had done enough to win it. Inter find a goal to tie the tie again, to level it again, and seemingly going to be taking us into extra time, unless there is a last gasp winner in this game. I mean, if anybody thought 3-3 wasn't possible to happen again, well, let the football do the talking, because it has happened again. Very different circumstances again. And Barca don't want to finish here. They're almost trying to squeeze it through. Is there another goal of this? Surely not before the final whistle. Here's Yamal at the byline. He's skipping through. Oh, good challenge. Garcia. There's bodies in the box here for Barca. If they can get the cross in. Oh, they've had it stolen away from them. Inter, are they going to go on the counter? They're going to try and find it. Absolutely thumped away by Ronald Araujo. And here's Kubarsi. Rafinha. Surely there's about a minute left, if that. Rafinha rides it through. Here's Lamine Yamal. Straight at Jan Sommer. Lamine Yamal. Oh, he was right through. He got past Augusto. And he was stretching to try and finish it. And he just hits it right down the throat of Jan Sommer. And there's the final whistle. 96 minutes of blood, sweat and tears. And it's finished in another 6-goal thriller. 12 goals over the 2 legs. And we finish after 90 minutes. A 3-3 draw on the night. 6-6 on aggregate. We are on for a Champions League semi-final for the ages that neither side wants to lose. and we are ready for extra time. That's coming up. Do stay with us. You do not want to miss it. If these last two 90-minute spells haven't given you enough motivation to stay, I don't know what will. 12 goals already. There's surely more left in it. We might even be heading to a penalty shootout. We'll be back for extra time in a couple of minutes. Do stay with us. Welcome back to Champions League Live at the end of 90 minutes of the second leg of this semi-final. It's Inter 3, Barcelona 3 on the night, 6-6 on aggregate. I mean, is there much more we can get out of this game? I really don't know anymore, honestly. This is absolutely unbelievable stuff. And I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't think I could have imagined that this was going to happen again. That it was going to end 3-3 on the night. But my goodness, how no one could have predicted that this was going to happen. I mean, this is why we love the Champions League. This is why it is as good as it is. But I don't think we've ever seen anything like this ever before. And I don't think we'll ever see it ever again. It's one of these bizarre ties that you probably only see once in a generation. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Welcome into everybody watching. We will have extra time for you in a couple of minutes. Neither of these two sides, Inter or Barcelona, want to lose this. And we love watching it. I don't want any of this game to finish. I don't want this tie to ever finish. But neither of these sides are willing to give up. And this is what that creates. That inability to say we're finished, to say it's done, to say it's over, just creates that immense madness. And we are on for a cracking extra time. 30 minutes before possible penalties to decide our first finalists of this year's Champions League. And either team, whoever goes through, will be worthy finalists because, my goodness, over the last 180 minutes to this point, both have worked their absolute lives off to try and get to a Champions League final. I mean, no one knows who's going to go through. No one knows anymore. It's been too many twists and turns that we've been spun into hallucinating. No one knows what's going to happen. Oh my goodness, I can't wait to know. And I can't wait to see more of this game in a couple of minutes. Well, they're a little bit ahead of time here, the players, so we will wait on the official start of the game from UEFA for the start of extra time. As we're underway then for extra time. 30 minutes, 15 and a half. Two halves to decide a winner. If that cannot separate them, then penalties will be the ultimate decider. It always is. I wouldn't bet against these two sides finding the net again before even a penalty shootout might be possible. Certainly wouldn't bet against it. As Jamal Does well to win a throw in there down the right side for Barcelona. And then they thought they'd won it. When they thought it was all done, Inter came and answered again and gave them an equalizer. It's almost exactly the same as the first leg. Swap the 2 third goals about and it would have been a carbon copy of the first leg. Inter 2 up, Barca get back to 2-2. Only in the first leg, Inter went 3-2 up, whereas tonight, Barca went 3-2 up on the night. As Lamine Yamal was caught there by Carlos Augusto, and a free kick goes the way of Barcelona here. Carlos Augusto, of course, was on for Federico Di Marco. And it turns out, as soon as Di Marco went off the field, Lamine Yamal came alive. Wonder if that's a coincidence. Here we go. Free kick to Barca. Rafinha's delivery. Flicked on. Cleared away. Rafinha gets it back again. Tries to force it round the corner to Pedri. Get loose. Rafinha challenging off Zielinski there. And it will be a throw into Inter on the left-hand side. A reminder for you, there is another Champions League semi-final tomorrow night. PSG 1 up from the first leg against Arsenal. That's tomorrow, 8 o'clock on LFS for that one. You can join us for that tomorrow evening. If it's anything like this, it will be well worth the watch. Something tells me it won't be. But yeah, it will be an exciting one no matter what happens. Those two sides never won the Champions League, PSG and Arsenal. So we're guaranteed a chance at that happening for the final this year, no matter who goes through there. Who will they be facing? You're no closer to finding out now. Well, it's 3 minutes past 11 local time in Milan, and we're no closer to finding a winner between Inter and Barcelona. Earlier on, remember I told you a couple of players on the bench at Barcelona got yellow cards. Hansi Flick was one of them, and Pau Victor, who's on the bench for Barca, is the other. Pau Victor, who hasn't been brought onto the field for Barcelona. He was also booked in the game. Snatching in that one a little bit. Rafinha trying to win it back. Inter keep it. Seems like that equalising goal's reinvigorated Inter all of a sudden. They're a little bit more in check. Barca a little bit more dazed, and here's Thuram trying to flick his way into the box. It's Kubarsi that gets it clear. Martin down the left side, battling, scrambling, losing out, as does De Jong. And Inter with bodies forward, and they feed a ball in behind, and it's trying to get across. Lost his balance there, did Acerbi, but he absolutely buoys the crowd, G's them up, and wants that response from the San Siro crowd. Does David Fratesi there. Will be an Inter throw down the right side. An equalising goal from Francisco Acerbi has them in this position. Inter rescued them in the dying seconds of additional time, as Eric Garcia was fouled there by Carlos Augusto. It's going to be a free kick to Barcelona. Well, we know what rich histories these two clubs have in this competition, but I would say, and I said earlier on, I don't think there will be a night quite like this in recent histories of these two football clubs in this competition. That's nice there from Rafinha. Playing it back to Araujo. Now Garcia onto Lamine Yamal. Yamal, who sparked into life in that second half. Had one or two good chances of his own. Hit the post. And almost could have won it in the dying embers if he'd have found a way past Jan Sommer. As he was played in behind, so he certainly had his fair share of opportunity tonight. He's still out there, battling and fighting at such a young age. It's just raw, kind of, I don't know, adrenaline probably. It's keeping all those players going. Yamal, lovely calmness of mind. Finds it to Gerard Martin, who whips it in. Can't quite find its target. Cleared away. Header won by Frankie de Jong. Brought down by Eric Garcia. Down the right comes Yamal again. Garcia running in behind. Yamal doesn't take that option. Decides to step inside himself. Lays it off, and now the run through. Pedri was close. But it's scrambling with Jan Sommer. And he comes and collects. Long kick by Sommer. Araujo was involved in the winning of the header. A little bit loose from Fermin Lopez, but he had the support of Gerard Martin, who couldn't keep possession there for the visitors. Bouncing ball in behind, Thuram on the chase. And nicely mopped up by the Barca defence there. Back to Szczesny. Long ball over the top. Bouncing away from the Inter defence. Brought down by Martin. And he's breaking forward. Here's Gerard Martin. He's got 2 assists already tonight. Finds it out wide to Rafinha, who's offside. Inter might be racking up the offsides against Barcelona all of a sudden. They might be trying to employ that high line. That's the 10th offside called tonight. 8 for Inter, or 8 against Inter, 2 now against Barcelona. Eric Garcia is going to be making way tonight, right now for Barca. He's going to be replaced by Hector Fort. So that is Barcelona's 4th substitute of the night. They still have 2 remaining, I believe. And Inter have 1, of course. They used up all 5 of their subs in normal time, but of course the extra one in extra time. So Hector Fort is on here for Barcelona, replacing Eric Garcia. Nice flick on there in the middle. Thuram trying to control it. Brings it down. Surrounded by luminous green shirts. Thuram still finding a way through. There's bodies flooding the box here for Inter! And they find the back of the net again. And the Barca players drop to the ground. It's David Fratesi. And from 2 goals up, back level and behind, to now leading again Inter in extra time. What a roller coaster of emotions those home fans would be feeling. And it's David Fratesi that has Inter a 4th goal and the lead once again in this Champions League semi-final. San Siro was silenced in the 87th minute when Rafinha scored what seemingly looked like the winning goal for Barca. Inter equalised in added time, and now they have the lead again in extra time. It's lazy defending from Barcelona, but it's great work from Marcus Thuram. He gets it into the box, the ball falls to Fratesi, and he has the time, all the time in the world, to find and guide the finish into the far corner. And that is a wonderful goal. And Inter are back in front again. It's incredible. Inter 4, Barcelona 3. Inter lead by 7 goals to 6 on aggregate. Generational. Generational. Wow. Wow. This is absolutely unreal. Unreal. And I don't think... I wouldn't bet against it being another goal. I mean, we're being spoiled beyond belief. Here's Lamine Yamal trying to force it through, and that one goes all the way through and out the other end for a goal kick. As there's an Inter player down, which is paused the game for the moment. There's actually no room on the bottom ticker to tell you who scored anymore. There's been that many goals tonight. We'll keep the 6 that have scored there on the screen for you. But David Fratesi has the 4th for Inter on the night. Oh my goodness. The goal is remarkable. It's Marcus Thuram. The way he holds it up, the way he dribbles back into the box, the way he just finds the space to get it into Fratesi, and then the time that Fratesi has on the ball, and he just makes sure that he gets it right, and that he does. Absolutely sumptuous finish into the far left corner. I mean, these goals we've seen tonight and 6 days ago in the first leg, 13 in total, and they've been amongst the best that we've seen in Europe, amongst the best I've certainly seen in Europe. I mean, I don't think anybody in their wildest dreams could have imagined this was happening tonight. I don't think you could ever imagine this in your wildest dreams happening at any night, at any time in football. But even after a 3-3 draw in the first leg, we didn't think, no, they couldn't do it again, could they? It's just not possible to happen again. Well, there's nothing that's impossible in football. If this tie doesn't tell you that, well, I don't know what will. There's nothing impossible about football. Anything and everything is possible. And we still wouldn't bet against there being another goal or even more goals. And maybe it going to possible penalties. Inter won't want that. They'll want to hold out and try and see this lead to the finish line now. They've held a 2-goal lead twice over the 2 legs. They've been pegged back twice. They were even behind at one stage. But my goodness, they do not want to throw this lead away now. I think for Inter, I'd put 10 behind the ball. Forget about attacking. Make sure you do not concede another one. Here's a shot from distance. Over the bar by Hector Fort. The space was opening up for him there on the edge of the box. Took the touch, unleashed the strike, and it was just going over the bar. Well, the heavens have opened inside Milan. Whether it's a heavenly message, my goodness, it's been a miraculous evening. Miraculous evening. And one of the wonderful, absolute wonderful venues of European football. A city that worships this sport. And thousands that worship this team in blue and black. Might just be seeing their team pull off one of the most incredible games and incredible ties in Champions League history. Barca haven't given up yet though. Ronald Araujo. As we're about to come to a close at the end of the first half of extra time. We'll see how long will be added on at the end of that. Whether there'll be a minute or two maybe. Usually there is. Here's Lamine Yamal. He's got Fort on the overlap. Yamal comes back inside again. Looking to swing it out to the far side. It's one to chase. It's kept in but only out for an Inter throw. 3 added minutes at the end of the first half of extra time. Here. I'm looking at stats, I'm looking at information in front of me. I don't even know what to add to this. There's only superlatives you can say. Incredible, fantastic, amazing, unbelievable, monumental, generational, whatever words you want to use. They're all applicable here. And they're all applicable alongside each other. Here is Lamine Yamal, lifting towards the box again. The cross too close to Jan Sommer, who dives to the ground with a catch. Overall, Barca have had more of the shots in the game. They had 10 to Inter's 3 in the second half alone. Overall, they've had 17 to Inter's 12. 5 big chances to Inter's 4. But Inter still have the XG advantage. Only slightly though, 2.17 to 2.16 in Inter's favour. So by 0.01 of an XG, Inter lead the XG battle there. But Barca 70% of the ball throughout the evening. Inter have a free kick here, with a minute of the 3 added of the first half of extra time to go. And Alessandro Bastoni and Nico Barella are over it. Barella swings it in with the right foot. Headed away at the back post by Gerard Martin. Under pressure again, Martin can't get it clear, it's Dumfries. Dribbles past his man, Dumfries rolls it back into the path of Fratesi. Tries to get it across, away by Fort. Barca hanging on here now. And the header right back to Szczesny for Barcelona. Here's Frenkie de Jong. Forcing it towards Hector Fort, but the slip of the ball, slick nature of the ball, such torrential rain. It's just struggling to keep the possession there, Barcelona. And Inter are just trying to get as much as they can out of this now. And keep it up the field as much as they can and give Barcelona as little a chance of getting back as they can as the end of the 3 additional minutes of the first half of extra time. And the Inter players and fans are not happy the referee called for the half time of extra time, because they might have been in there and behind. And there was an onslaught of players, and it is half time and extra time. It's Inter with the lead. Oh my goodness. Inter 4, Barca 3, second half of extra time on the way after this. Welcome back to Champions League Live. Half-time and extra time, it's Inter 4, Barca 3 on the night. It is 7-6 in Inter's favour on aggregate. Quite remarkable. And we have another half of extra time to come. And of course, if it's level after extra time, then penalty shootout will be needed. But, excuse me, Jesus. As it stands, it's Inter that are heading through. As it stands. I stress that, because at many times tonight it has looked like the game's been done when it really hasn't been. At half-time it looked like Inter had got it with a 2-goal lead against Barca. Looked like Barca were off it tonight. Looked like they were heading through Inter. Barca with a comeback. They took the lead with 3 minutes of normal time to go. Thought they'd won it. Inter equalised, and now Inter lead in extra time. As there's going to be a double substitution here for Barca. Gavi and Pau Victor are on. Their final 2 substitutions of the tie, because they've made all 6 now, and they're coming on. I'll let you know who they've come on for in a moment, but it is Gavi and Pau Victor, the two that are on for Barca. And they've replaced Pau Cubarsí, and the other one is, the referee hasn't got us back on the way yet. He's waiting on the signal from the sideline to get the game underway. And there we are, back on the way for the second half of extra time. 15 minutes for Barca to try and get another goal. 15 minutes for Inter to hold on to head to a Champions League final. That's what we've got in store, and what's at stake here in extra time. Here's Gerard Martin. Reverses it into the path. And here comes Gavi, who's only on the field. And it's scrambled away at the back there by Inter. Gavi only on. Pedri was also replaced, by the way, by Pau Victor. So Cubarsí and Pedri replaced by Gavi and Pau Victor. Here's Lopez. Into Frenkie de Jong. Well, I mean, even if it does go to penalties, I mean, I'm sure they'd be absolutely knackered. I mean, of course, they're professional athletes, they're professional footballers, but this has been one not only physically draining match, but an emotionally draining match for these players. And both sides had thought they'd won it. Both sides thought they were losing it. And we stand here with both sides with still very little between them in extra time. And Barca, the team that need to be in the ascendancy, that need to find the attack, that need to find the goal. Rafinha switches it out to Fermin Lopez. Back across to Rafinha. Rafinha, he won't give the chance to shoot. Hits it straight at a man in Zielinski. Here's Yamal. Lamine Yamal. Still got energy to burn here. And he chips it into the mix. And the header is over the bar by Robert Lewandowski. It was a great ball in by Lamine Yamal. Again, dribbles his way to the byline. Chips it across. And Robert Lewandowski, whether it takes a deflection or not, I don't think it does. And Robert Lewandowski gets his head to it. He just can't guide it down. And he flicks it over the top. That's a massive moment. And Inzaghi's going to make, Simone Inzaghi is going to make one final change here for Inter. He's going to see Denzel Dumfries, who a long time ago assisted Lautaro Martinez to open the scoring tonight. And he looks like he's limping off. He has given all that he is able to give. He's the man who started the scoring, and he's the man that set up the third goal for Inter to keep them alive. He has more than definitely played his part, Denzel Dumfries. And he's been replaced late in this by Stefan de Vrij, another defender for Inter. And they need that extra defensive solidity for the final minutes. They might want to try and find a fifth goal. That would end it. Thuram lays it off. The ball here for David Fratesi. What a save by Szczesny. Needed it. So needed it. And Fratesi could have been the maddest hero. As it was actually Thuram was offside. So even if that had found the back of the net, it would have been offside. But they've been given a corner, so it wasn't given offside on the field. So it's a corner to Inter. They probably shouldn't have it, but it is a corner. Left-hand side. Is there one more goal for Inter? That would really down it now. Right-footed delivery, headed away at the front post by de Jong. Another chance to deliver. Oh, the slip. And there's a flag up anyway for offside against the Inter captain there. The man that has the armband on that side. Yeah, offside. Right, just over 10 minutes of this game to go. That's it. 10 minutes. We've played 110 out of 120 minutes. If Inter are leading, come the final whistle. Barca are out and Inter are through to the final. But if Barcelona claw another goal back and make it 4-4, then it's penalties to decide a winner. I mean, I wouldn't bet against either of those two scenarios happening. I mean, I probably wouldn't bet against Barca scoring 2 goals in extra time and winning it outright. I don't know what's going to happen. Don't tell me to predict it. Because I don't think anybody knows. Gotta say, the rain might just be playing its part, because the game's got very soggy. It's got very scrappy because of the rain. Players slipping about everywhere. Fratesi did really well there, and that ball fizzed back across by Damian. A little bit deep for Taremi. We'll find it out wide to Augusto. Now Zielinski. Augusto again. Barella. Slightly overcooked it and couldn't keep it in play there. Inter down that side with Bastoni. Throw in to Barca. Some contrasting feelings in the chat over what they want, what you want to happen. Well, I can certainly tell you, we'll guide you right the way through it, no matter what happens. Whether it's a result after extra time or a result after penalties. Either way, as Barca get a drop ball here, Fermin Lopez tried to cross into the box. It hit the back of Simon Marciniak, the referee. What? I mean, that's not very healthy. I would say that 5 hours of sleep in the last 4 days, that's not healthy at all. That can't be the case. Here's Gavi. Here's Lamine Yamal. Cuts it back. Hector Fort with a cross. Got far too much whip on it. Well overhit. Goal kick. Hansi Flick applauds, but he must know Barca can't be affording too many things like that at this late stage if they want to progress. It's Jan Sommer. Whacks it long. Flicked on. In behind. Thuram is making himself known to the Barca defence, but that's nicely retrieved. Back to Szczesny. Barca trying to build forward. Is there another goal in this? Well, 5 of the 7 goals we've seen tonight are actually, if I'm not mistaken, 6 of the 7 goals we've seen tonight have come down this left-hand side. The only goal that we didn't see down this left side was Inter's equalizer in the 93rd minute. Oh, a little mistake there by Barca at the back. Might give Inter a little glimpse. Ball whipped in by Augusto, too high for Thuram. And a challenge there committed by Fermin Lopez, and Fratesi couldn't keep it in. Throw into Barca. 6.5 minutes of extra time to go. Ball down the left side. Inside it comes. Played on well. And Rafinha tries to feed it in behind. It's beautifully weighted to Lamine Yamal. Here's Lamine Yamal! Oh! Did Jan Sommer make that save? I think he did. And it will be a corner to Barca. That looked like the defining moment. Lovely ball, beautifully weighted from Rafinha. Yamal steps inside his man again, and it was angling towards the far corner, but what a save by Jan Sommer. And Fermin Lopez to take this corner for Barca. Jan Sommer making some great saves late here. Lopez deep into the hands of Jan Sommer. Well, I gotta say, he might have scored an own goal last week, and not by any of his own fault. But my goodness, tonight Jan Sommer has made some great saves. And that one probably the pick of the bunch against Lamine Yamal. It's not been his night. He's had so many opportunities from the from half-time onward. He's not been able to take one of them, but it only takes a split second for Lamine Yamal to find the back of the net. That type of pass from the Barca defence is not going to help them try and conjure a counter-attack here. They've actually won the ball fairly. Here's Lamine Yamal. The home crowd don't believe so. Yamal a little bit loose with his pass. Araujo helps it out forward. Fort to Fermin. Simone Inzaghi's almost playing the game with his players there on the sideline. As De Jong had that door closed in front of him. But they've got it back again, Barca. Rafinha. De Jong. Down the right side. Lamine Yamal. Can he do something? Chips it into the box. Flicked on. Bounced down. Cleared away. Only as far as Fermin. Fermin Lopez again. Lays it off to Rafinha. Tired legs. Tired minds. But is there time for one more? For Barcelona. There's 4.5 minutes remaining. Frankie de Jong chips it into the box. Lamine Yamal! Another save by Sommer. And the Lewandowski header on the rebound is looped over the bar. Lamine Yamal has had chance after chance, but he just cannot find a way past Jan Sommer tonight. Sommer, top quality. And Lamine Yamal is having a night, but a night where he just can't find a way past this goalkeeper. But it's not done and dusted. The fans starting to believe with all these saves, all these denied chances for Barcelona. Are they going to believe it's their night? As a little fortuitous touch, awful underhit past that towards Fermin Lopez, breaks the attack apart there for Barca. As Rafinha battling to the very death, and Vertesi was brought down, and he again gestures to the crowd to cheer them over the line. And Inzaghi is absolutely immersed in this. He is immersed beyond belief at this game. This stadium will explode with noise if Inter can find a way through, if Inter can hang on. Here's Marcus Thuram. Battling, losing. And Barca break away with the ball. All it takes is one chance. One moment. Here's Lamine Yamal. A lot further away than he wants to be from the goal, but he's dragged back. It's going to be a free kick to Barca, but an Inter yellow card there as well. But it's one of those. You take one for the team at this late stage to deny Lamine Yamal a straight run at your goal. No doubt about it, no brainer. Ball whipped into the box by De Jong. Headed away up in the air, not cleanly cleared by Vertesi, but that one is by Mathieu Darmian. And now Gerard Martin gets it back for Barcelona. Time running out. 2 minutes of normal time to go, plus whatever additional time is on the end. Here's Lamine Yamal, dribbling through again. Lamine Yamal, deflection. We'll take it for a corner. He's not giving up, Lamine Yamal. He is not giving up. Alessandro Bastoni gets a yellow card for that foul on Yamal a moment or two ago. And he's the one that makes the deflection to take it behind for a Barca corner here on the right hand side. Surely this might be one of the last chances for Barcelona. Left footed delivery into the box, punched over by Sommer and over the bar for another corner. That was a good whip ball by Rafinha. Or was it Lamine Yamal actually? It's Yamal again. Left footed. Taking history into his own hands. As it's cleared away by Inter again. That ball. Is it over the top again? Lewandowski to chase, but was he offside? He wasn't. Anywhere will do as they clear it away with Darmian. And they're wanting to get this through in quickly. Last minute of the 120 here for Barca. He was onside there with Lewandowski. Perfectly timed. My goodness. Is there one last twist in this Champions League tale of all tales? Or are Inter finally going to hold on against Barcelona as Lamine Yamal runs into the wall of an Inter body in front of him? And now they're on the break here. But Nico Barella has absolutely no pace in that. He is done for. He's hanging on for dear life, as probably all of those players are. But Barca need to move quick. Gavi, Fermin Lopez. Back to Gavi. Bodies in the box. Gavi's cross a little bit low. Headed away. And away again it goes. And out for a throw into Barca. 2 minutes of additional time at the end of extra time. That's it. 2 minutes, 120 seconds. That's what it all comes down to for Barca to scramble this one. Yamal, the header across. Cleared away. And the bounce clearance from Inter. Another Barca throw. Yamal. Rafinha over the top. Back across by Lopez in the clearance. And it's going to be a free kick to Inter Milan. Right on the line. It's Fermin Lopez's header across. It was Ronald Araujo challenging in there for the ball. And he takes out the Inter man, Stefan de Vrij. And that's a free kick to Inter. And I think, just think, that might be enough. The crowd believe it. The thousands inside San Siro in Milan tonight. Dreaming. Hoping. Desperate for the final whistle. As Jan Sommer kicks long again. And Thuram holds this one up and is brought down. And he's going to get the foul. That was too aggressive. And that was never going to be allowed to be won back. And it was lazy from Frankie de Jong. It's one of those, a fatigued foul. Challenged so late in a game. And it's so smart from Marcus Thuram. Incredible. And this is going to be it. Simone Inzaghi is waving his arms in saying that should be that. It really should be. Inter will take this free kick. And it's kicked up the field. And it goes behind for a goal kick. Is there one last opportunity? The ball is nowhere to be seen here. Barca won it. But there's no more time. Simone Inzaghi's side have done it. They've got a way through. It might have took 123 minutes to do it. But they do not care. San Siro erupts. And Inter find a way past Barcelona by the finest of margins. David Fratesi with the ultimate winning goal. It took 13 goals to find a winner in this tie. It was nail-biting to the very finish. It was a Champions League classic for the ages. Barcelona fought their way back many's a time over the two legs. But in the end, Inter were formidable. And they find themselves in the 2025 Champions League final in Munich. Inter Milan absolutely embodying Italian fighting desire. And Barcelona, the youthful exuberance and talent and quality galore, just could not fend them off. Inter so well known for their defence. Well, there wasn't much defending over these two legs. And maybe going under the radar with their attack, Inter. But no more. 7 goals over the two legs. And Barca with 6. This is a Champions League tie for the ages. And these Inter fans will never forget it. Not only tonight, but 6 nights ago, we witnessed another glorious game in Europe. These two sides deserve an stupendous amount of applause because of the hard work and desire and grit and determination they put into this. Neither side wanted to lose it. Neither side wanted to give up. Neither side gave up. And when Barca thought they'd won it 3 minutes from the 90 in San Siro, Inter told them there was another way. An equalizer in the 93rd minute from Francesco Acerbi to take it to extra time. And David Fratesi's winner in extra time in the 99th minute. 99% of this game, these two were level. These two were inseparable. But it is fine margins that we say and repeat and talk about so often in football at the very highest level. And it's Inter, by the skin of their teeth, have found a way through to the final. Congratulations to Inter Milan. There's no doubting that whoever went through tonight deserved it, because my goodness, you put on a display like this and you do not want to see either side lose it. Emotions for Rafinha there, and of having fought to the very death Barca. He thought he'd won it for Barca in the 87th minute, but it was a horrible turnaround for Barcelona that they did not want to see. They thought it was their comeback night. Well, it was Inter that threw it all away, but they won it all over again. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Breathe. Breathe. Final score from this Champions League semi-final second leg at San Siro, Milan. It is finished Inter Milan 4, Barcelona 3 on the night. Inter win 7-6 on aggregate. Oh my goodness gracious me. That is one of the best, if not the best, Champions League tie I have ever seen in my life. 13 goals. It was more than befitting of a final matchup, these two. Either side could have won it, could have had the argument to win it, but in the end it's Inter that do, and it's David Fratesi that did. When Inter looked like they were going out against Bayern Munich in the quarterfinals, Fratesi stepped up and was counted. And when they looked like they were down and out in the semi-finals, David Fratesi stepped up and was counted, and he got them to the final. So there it is, our first semi-final sealed. It might have took us all the way, all the distance, the full 210 minutes to find a winner. But in the end, there always is a winner, and there's always a loser. And unfortunately for Barcelona, it wasn't their night, it wasn't their season. Their treble is gone. Inter's treble was gone a long time ago when they lost the Coppa Italia. But they can do a fantastic double, is still on the cards. But even if they don't do that, a Champions League trophy heading back to San Siro would be a dream. 15 years in waiting. They haven't won it since 2010. And they want their fourth title. Inter, they were so horribly beaten in 2023 by Man City. So narrowly beaten. They have the chance to make up for that and to make it count. Simone Inzaghi's side, it will be a full circle moment for that. Incredible. Incredible. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching tonight. This has been one of the best nights of European football I have ever seen. And it was great to have you joining us this evening to witness it with. Thank you very, very much for that opportunity. As we tell you that there's another Champions League semi-final coming tomorrow night, as PSG, a one-goal lead from their first leg win at the Emirates against Arsenal. That's tomorrow, 8 o'clock, as PSG look to get the job done. Or can Arsenal have a comeback of their own? These two have never won the competition, and they want to be first-time winners. But Inter will be their potential opponents for whoever wins that one tomorrow night. Congratulations to Inter Milan. They fought to the very death, and they by far deserve it. Congratulations to Inter. We'll see them in the final in 3.5 weeks' time. We'll see you tomorrow night, hopefully, for that other semi-final to see who will be joining Inter Milan in the 2025 Champions League final. Join us tomorrow night. Thanks for your company. It's been great having you with us tonight, and it's been great doing this. It's been an incredible night, and we thank you very much for watching. Let's hope for more of the same tomorrow night. Thanks for your company. Night night.